Chapter 699. On the 72nd floor of this tower, Ning Cheng finally understood his returning to one Tao. Everything in the world had its own origin and would eventually return to one. It was just like, one begets two, two begets three, three begets all things. If all things were reversed, they would return to one, which was called returning to one. Ning Cheng threw away an invisible shackle, which made him feel relaxed. His leg bones, which had already been broken by the pressure, naturally returned to their original state. Ning Cheng raised his hand, and the Tao charm naturally formed. The huge pressure around him disappeared without a trace. It was as if he had fused with everything on this floor, forming a whole. Bringing out the Nirvana spear, the spear pierced through the air, and space instantly stagnated. Unlike when he brought out the sunset's twilight before, this time, he felt the stagnant space under his complete control. It was a wonderful feeling. Perhaps, this was the real entry-level understanding of the laws of time. One day, he would be able to integrate all the laws into one and form returning to one. Perhaps, he would be able to achieve the supreme grand Tao. Putting away the Nirvana spear, Ning Cheng raised his hand and grasped it. The surrounding space seemed to have turned into a whole, and he grasped it completely. This wasn't the maximal flame spirit technique, but a simulated space-type spirit technique that Ning Cheng had created using the maximal flame spirit technique's laws. In the future, his maximal flame spirit technique didn't necessarily have to use the maximal flame explosion. He could also use other attacks. One day, his simulated space-type spirit technique would turn into a real space-type spirit technique. Ning Cheng didn't continue to the 73rd floor. Instead, he grabbed a crystal ball. It was the Mo clan spirit technique, none to depend on. Now that he had a deep understanding of it, it was the most suitable time to comprehend none to depend on. Ning Cheng didn't touch the none to depend on wine he obtained from Zhu Jingfeng's ring. Instead, he took out a barrel of top-quality none to depend on wine. He didn't even use the wine pot and directly lifted the barrel and took a sip. At the same time, his spiritual consciousness connected to the crystal ball. Boom! An indescribable sadness poured into Ning Cheng's mind. Ning Cheng, holding the barrel, fell into this sadness. Often apart, not abandoning the heart, looking at the distant stars, none to depend on. Amid the sadness, the Tao charm of the spirit technique overflowed from the crystal ball, blending with Ning Cheng's sadness. Ancient road, west wind, skinny horse, the yellow sand was brought up by the west wind and covered the sky and the earth, drowning the long ancient road outside the village. He led the skinny horse and wanted to see his lover clearly on the ancient road, but the yellow sand blocked his eyes. As the sun set in the west, the ancient path was gradually submerged in the yellow sand that filled the sky. Everything in front of him slowly became blurry and darkness descended. Catcha! The crystal ball shattered, causing Ning Cheng to suddenly wake up. He looked up at the empty and boundless surroundings, while cold sweat oozed out from his back. If someone had suddenly used a killer move while he was immersed in his sorrowful emotions, he would have died long ago. So this was none to depend on, a heart path spirit technique. Bringing out the Nirvana spear, the sad and disappointed Tao charm followed the Nirvana spear and filled the entire world. At this moment, this piece of heaven and earth turned into an ancient path. At this moment, his opponent was staring blankly at the yellow sand on the ancient path. At this moment, the entire world was filled with sorrow. At this moment, he was the ruler. He was the ruler of this world. As long as his Nirvana spear swept out, everything in this world would perish. Whether it was the ancient path, the west wind, or the skinny horse, no matter how powerful one's opponent was. Ning Cheng put away his spear and stood still. Everything around him returned to its original state, and the sad aura dissipated without a trace. In front of him was still the 72nd floor. There was no ancient path, no west wind, no skinny horse, and no yellow sand. So, this is none to depend on. Ning Cheng muttered to himself, what a powerful spirit technique. He felt sure that if he encountered the none to depend on spirit technique for the first time, with his temperament, he would have fallen for it. Whether it was a good person or a bad person, whether it was a devil or an angel, whether it was a god or a monster, in their hearts, there was always a place that belonged to the depths of their souls, a place that no one else could touch. As long as this place existed, it would lead to the none to depend on spirit technique. Taking in a deep breath, Ning Cheng slowly walked towards the 73rd floor. On the 72nd floor, he had gained too much. The powerful pressure from the golden staircase swept over, but Ning Cheng no longer burned his celestial essence. Instead, his body exuded an aura of Tao charm, and his celestial river domain merged with the powerful force around him. The powerful pressure from the golden staircase instantly weakened, allowing Ning Cheng to easily cross the staircase and reach the 73rd floor. Sure enough, as long as one could find the source of power, Ning Cheng understood that the pressure source in this tower was a kind of law force. As long as one integrated and understood the laws within it, the surrounding pressure would instantly weaken. Once one fully grasped the laws within it, walking on this staircase would feel like taking a leisurely stroll. 74th floor, 75th floor, as Ning Cheng continued to ascend, his returning to one Tao charm grew more and more condensed. At the same time, his understanding of the laws of heaven and earth also grew clearer. He directly passed through the 79th floor and arrived at the 80th floor. From the looks of it, this tower was the same as the 9x9 celestial scryer tower that he had visited before, which also had 81 floors. Ning Cheng didn't hesitate. He didn't even have time to comprehend the Tao charm on the 80th floor before stepping onto the staircase leading to the 81st floor. The returning to one Tao charm merged with the Tao charm of the tower's staircase, forming golden ripples around Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng felt like he was walking through these golden ripples, surrounded by a golden glow. Ning Cheng had just reached the 81st floor when the surrounding scenery suddenly changed. He no longer felt like he was inside the tower. Instead, he found himself surrounded by a vast starry sky. Beyond the vast starry sky was an even more vast and boundless void. Ning Cheng felt like he was standing in the middle of this endless starry sky, and his Tao charm also intertwined with this endless space. He could feel that the laws of this vast universe were broken and incomplete, which gave him an impulse to change the incomplete Tao charm laws of heaven and earth and make it whole. With just a thought, the Tao charm laws floated in front of his eyes before merging into the starry sky. The endless starry sky universe in front of him seemed to have become richer, and the Tao charm laws also gradually improved. The rumbling sounds of the perfected laws echoed in Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness. His gaze felt like a ray of light shooting out from the eyes of the sky, passing through layer after layer of interface space and passing through layer after layer of living worlds. At this moment, he felt like a ruler, standing high above the clouds. Time flowed slowly, and Ning Cheng immersed himself in this wonderful feeling. He seemed to like the feeling of being in control of everything. The laws of heaven and earth had changed because of him, and the universe had perfected its Tao charm laws because of him. Not knowing how much time had passed, a mysterious yellow aura washed over, and Ning Cheng suddenly woke up. He was just a little cultivator who hadn't advanced to the life and death realm. How could he change the laws of heaven and earth? How could he control the Tao charm of the universe? The moment he woke up, everything around him disappeared, and the starry sky of the universe turned into nothingness. His gaze could no longer pass through the interface space, and he could only see the things on this floor. The tower was still the same tower. Apart from the words 81st floor floating in front of him, there was nothing else. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath. He knew that he had fallen into an illusion just now. It felt as if he had really become the ruler of the universe and could truly perfect the laws of heaven and earth. Fortunately, the mysterious yellow aura woke him up in time. Otherwise, he would have been arrogant enough to think that he could change the laws of heaven and earth of the entire starry sky universe. Sure enough, this tower only had 81 floors. Ning Qing sighed in relief. Here, he no longer sensed the golden staircase leading to the 82nd floor. This clearly showed that there were no higher levels in the tower. Something is not right. Ning Qing suddenly remembered the purpose of him entering this tower. He wanted to cross this tower in order to touch the life and death realm, and to comprehend the life and death realm. But now, not only could he not see where the tower's exit was, he couldn't even see the path he had come from. Right now, he was about to advance to the life and death realm. If he couldn't see the exit of the tower, how could he get out of the tower? If he could not leave the tower, how could he advance to the life and death realm? Life and death realm, understanding yin and yang, understanding life and death were a cycle. Only by understanding this cycle could one touch the life and death realm. Only the life and death concept pill could simulate the concept of life and death reincarnation. Ning Qing was an alchemy master, so he naturally knew about the life and death concept pill. He did not have a life and death mentality pellet. If he wanted to advance to the life and death realm, besides passing through this tower, he would need a mentality pellet that could simulate the life and death reincarnation. The cycle of life and death, why did he need such a pill? He had already reincarnated once, from life to death, and from death to life again. The mysterious yellow bead was a witness, and the mysterious yellow bead had accompanied him from death to life. Ning Qing vaguely grasped a kind of understanding of life and death. Death and life were separated by a cycle, and he had experienced this cycle of reincarnation. Unlike others, he could still remember his previous life and this life after this cycle of reincarnation. His understanding of the cycle of life and death was much clearer than others, much clearer than others. Just as Ning Qing understood this moment, a golden door suddenly appeared at the end of the 81st floor. This golden door had a Tao charm of life and death samsara lingering over it. Ning Qing felt pleasantly surprised. He knew that as long as he pushed open this golden door, he could directly blast open the cultivation barrier to the life and death realm and advance to the life and death realm. Ning Qing suppressed the joy in his heart, took a deep breath, walked up to the golden door, and pushed it open with both hands. Boom! The sky above the culmination grand public square and the eternal starry sky tower erupted with golden light. Some of the cultivators with lower cultivations in the culmination public square even prostrated themselves on the ground and began to worship. It wasn't just this kind of heavenly phenomenon, but they also felt that the golden light seemed to have deepened their understanding. The top of the eternal starry sky tower had already become uncountable, and all the cultivators in the culmination public square had the same thought. The eternal starry sky tower seemed to have merged with the starry sky, and no one could count how many floors it had. Some cultivators in the heaven-seated realm and above looked at the changed eternal starry sky tower with fiery eyes. They could feel that the laws within the eternal starry sky tower seemed to be completely different from before. Perhaps, if they entered the eternal starry sky tower again, they would gain more recognition from this vast universe and understand more things. Chapter 700. Ning Qing pushed open the golden door and saw the vast starry sky. In the vast starry sky, a pure white stone tablet floated. Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness couldn't penetrate it. Was he still in an illusion? Ning Qing frowned and raised his hand to grab the pure white stone tablet. The stone tablet felt cold and hard to the touch, without any illusions. What was going on? Ning Qing had just thought of this when the scene around him suddenly disappeared. Was he still in the mysterious yellow bead? Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness swept out and found that he was still in the mysterious yellow bead. The tower had also disappeared, and the vast starry sky around him. No, the vast starry sky was still there, but the starry sky had become the starry sky inside the mysterious yellow bead. Ning Qing looked around the mysterious yellow bead in shock. His mysterious yellow bead had changed. Originally, it only contained the aura of the origin laws, but now it contained the aura of the starry sky. His mysterious yellow bead also contained the aura of the starry sky, and it was still improving. That's right, the aura of the mysterious yellow bead's laws was constantly improving. Ning Cheng finally sobered up. He should have gone into seclusion inside the mysterious yellow bead. After advancing to the full circle of the heaven-seated realm, he wanted to break through the heaven-seated realm and advance to the life and death realm. Originally, to break through the heaven-seated realm and advance to the life and death realm, he needed to leave the mysterious yellow bead and find the life and death concept pill. However, he ended up falling into an illusion and entered an 81-story tower. No, apart from the 81-story tower, there was also a golden door leading to the starry sky. Later, he perfected his Tao of returning to one in this tower and even gained a deeper understanding of the sunset's twilight and the maximal flame spirit techniques. That's right, he also mastered a new spirit technique, none to depend on. Finally, he broke through the 81st floor of the tower and arrived at a new vast starry sky. When he grabbed a pure white stone tablet, everything disappeared without a trace. It was just that the laws of his mysterious yellow bead had started to change. To be more precise, the laws of his mysterious yellow bead had started to improve. The mysterious yellow bead no longer contained a few kinds of origin auras, instead, it continued to improve the world's laws. Perhaps one day, his mysterious yellow bead would become the same as the outside world and become a real starry sky world. This definitely wasn't an illusion. Ning Cheng looked down and saw a pure white stone tablet in his hand. He took in a deep breath and murmured, it really wasn't an illusion. Although the pagoda was gone, the pure white stone tablet was still in his hands. Even his spiritual consciousness could not penetrate through this stone steel. Moreover, it contained a vast and boundless starry sky aura. This definitely was not an ordinary object. This kind of thing did not belong to the mysterious yellow bead itself, nor did it belong to him. The only explanation was that everything he had experienced before was real. But when he woke up from that state again, everything disappeared. Perhaps one day, when his cultivation reached a certain level, he would be able to restore the scene from before. Now, only the stone tablet in his hand and the god art he comprehended could prove that everything he experienced was real. Putting away the stone steel, Ning Cheng found that he had already used up half of the 10 million permanent essence pills. The starry sky essence chi vein he obtained from the Su clan had also been completely consumed. Not only that, but even the starry sky essence chi vein he obtained from the Interdependence Chamber of Commerce had shrunk by less than half. The consumption was simply too terrifying. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh. Every time he took a step forward, the consumption of cultivation resources would increase by several times. Fortunately, his cultivation base had reached the full circle of heaven realm, which was similar to the feeling in the pagoda. He had touched the life and death realm. Walking out of the mysterious yellow bead, Ning Cheng directly arranged a spiritual gathering array formation on the broken starland. He had already touched the life and death realm. In other words, he didn't need the life and death mentality pellet at all. He could go through the life and death calamity and attack the life and death realm. When Ning Cheng started to attack the life and death realm, he finally understood what it meant when he said that the perception of the Tao was directly related to the level of one's realm. Initially, when he tried to break through to the heaven-seated realm, he had to go through it countless times. Finally, with the help of the Celestial River Essence Chi King pill, he barely managed to break through it. But at this time, when he tried to break through to the life and death realm, it was as if the conditions were right. His celestial essence directly blasted into the cultivation barrier of the life and death realm. This kind of violent impact caused his entire meridians to sway, and even his Zifu was trembling from the impact. It was conceivable that as long as he kept attacking, the life and death realm would eventually be broken. However, Ning Cheng had only launched his first attack when violent lightning arcs roared out. As the endless lightning arcs fell, Ning Cheng was unable to calculate how many lightning arcs there were. Boom! Gotcha! Just the first wave of lightning arcs blasted the broken starland where Ning Cheng resided into pieces. All that remained under Ning Cheng's feet was a broken meteorite with a radius of a few dozen miles. Even Ning Cheng's clothes had turned into nothingness at this moment. Not waiting for Ning Cheng to come up with any defensive means, even more powerful lightning tribulation arcs descended. These lightning arcs were like a real thunder waterfall, mixed with a substantial thunderball. Poof! Under the powerful lightning arcs, Ning Cheng spat out a mouthful of blood for the first time, while his bones broke inch by inch. Even if Ning Cheng operated the mysterious yellow formless and the body-forging cultivation method to the extreme, even if he was a body-forging expert with a celestial river body, he still couldn't block this terrifying lightning tribulation. Ning Cheng felt a shadow in his heart. Ever since he obtained the everlasting Blue Thunder City, which allowed him to refine the thunder source and body forging technique, he had never put thunder tribulations in his eyes. In fact, it also proved that he did not fear thunder tribulations at all. No matter what kind of thunder tribulation it was, it would not hurt him. Thunder tribulations could only help him advance to a higher level faster, allowing his body forging technique to progress further. But today, he unexpectedly couldn't block this thunder tribulation. Not only could he not block it, but just the first wave of the thunder tribulation had already seriously injured him. Boom boom boom. The endless lightning arcs seemed to know that they had won the first wave, and when the second wave fell, it was even more violent. Ning Cheng struggled to get up, raised his hand, and brought out the everlasting Blue Thunder City, while swallowing several healing medicinal pills. Since he could start body forging, he had never relied on the everlasting Blue Thunder City during a thunder tribulation. But today, he had to bring out the everlasting Blue Thunder City to resist. Gotcha! Gotcha! The second wave of the thunder tribulation was even more violent. More than half of Ning Cheng's everlasting Blue Thunder City had turned solid, but under this kind of thunder waterfall, it still exploded. Under the thunder tribulation, the everlasting Blue Thunder City looked like a ruined city, with half of it destroyed. The shadow that had not yet turned solid directly turned into nothingness. Rumble. The remaining thunder waterfall once again smashed down on the everlasting Blue Thunder City, directly hitting Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng's bones continued to break, while his skin once again turned into a bloody mess. If not for the everlasting Blue Thunder City being Ning Cheng's weapon, he would have turned into a meat patty by now. But this time, with the help of the everlasting Blue Thunder City, although Ning Cheng's bones continued to break, his life was saved. At this moment, Ning Cheng only knew how to crazily absorb the thunder source to repair his bones and temper his corporeal body. When the third wave of the thunder tribulation descended, the everlasting Blue Thunder City continued to block it. Although the aftershocks caused Ning Cheng's injuries to worsen, Ning Cheng continued to use it to temper his corporeal body. Under this kind of violent thunder that could kill him at any time, Ning Cheng completely forgot that he was still trying to break through to the life and death realm and put all his energy into tempering his corporeal body. In other words, even if Ning Cheng wanted to break through to the life and death realm, he could not. Under this kind of violent thunder tribulation, he could only protect himself. He had no spare energy to break through to the life and death realm. The thunder tribulation seemed endless, and it continued to descend. Ning Cheng's cultivation did not change, but his corporeal body was getting stronger and stronger, and his celestial river body was gradually reaching perfection. This was probably the longest time Ning Cheng had ever taken to surmount a tribulation. He could not remember how many days he had resisted, nor could he remember how many waves of thunder tribulation he had endured. He only remembered that he had to constantly bring out the everlasting Blue Thunder City to block the terrifying thunder tribulation, and then use a body-forging cultivation method to strengthen his corporeal body. Boom! Another thunder waterfall descended, and Ning Cheng's celestial essence finally could not hold on. His everlasting Blue Thunder City's corporeal form grew weaker and weaker before finally turning into a shadow once again. The Blue Thunder City's shadow, under the bombardment of this thunder waterfall, directly turned into nothingness, and the remaining lightning struck Ning Cheng's body. Kaka, poof. At this moment, Ning Cheng's skin turned even more miserable, and almost all his bones shattered. Even if he had a strong self-sustaining ability, he could not reverse this decline. The violent thunder arcs and thunder waterfall bombardment, which shattered all of Ning Cheng's bones, also allowed Ning Cheng's body to break through to the celestial river realm. The moment Ning Cheng's corporeal body rushed into the starry sky body, his broken bones began to reform. It was like a spring breeze blowing through a field burned by fire, with new grass struggling to emerge from the soil. Kaka. Sounds once again filled Ning Cheng's body, but this time, it was no longer the sound of bones breaking, but the sound of bones reforming. In just a few breaths, Ning Cheng's bones had completely reformed, and his flesh and skin also quickly recovered. Boom boom boom. A new wave of thunder tribulation descended, with lightning arcs and thunder waterfalls mixed with dense thunderballs. Ning Cheng roared and suddenly abandoned the broken meteorite under his feet and rushed into the sky. This was the first time he had been bullied so miserably by a thunder tribulation. Chapter 701. The cultivator watching Ning Cheng surmounting the tribulation couldn't believe what he saw. Even if it was an eternal thunder tribulation, it wouldn't have such terrifying thunder power, right? If one were to say that this cultivator was extremely powerful, then the lightning tribulation would also be extremely powerful. But who would not only not use a magic treasure to resist this kind of lightning tribulation, but also rush into the lightning tribulation and use their fists to smash the tribulation lightning? Was he a Tao-confirming cultivator? Even a Tao-confirming powerhouse would not dare to do such a thing. At this moment, although he was muttering, "crazy," he didn't know who he was referring to. He didn't know if it was the tribulation lightning that had gone crazy, or if it was the cultivator who was crossing the tribulation that had gone crazy. Ning Cheng did not know if the thunder tribulation was triggered by the laws of heaven and earth, or if it was controlled by something. But he knew that after he got angry, the lightning tribulation seemed to get angry as well. Ning Cheng didn't know if this thunder tribulation with powerful laws violated the laws of heaven and earth, but he didn't feel frightened by this powerful thunder tribulation. Even so, he still used his fists to resist the tribulation lightning arcs. But this time, Ning Cheng did not directly disperse the lightning arcs like the last time. Instead, the lightning arcs containing powerful laws once again tore apart Ning Cheng's arm. Not only that, but the next wave of the thunder tribulation descended one after another. The entire space seemed to have been locked down by the thunder tribulation, causing Ning Cheng to struggle to even move. Facing the thunder tribulation with the laws of space, Ning Cheng grew angrier, but at the same time, he grew more rational. He understood that if he continued to fight like this, he would definitely not be a match. He would be at a disadvantage, and he might even be blasted to death by the lightning tribulation. The reason why the lightning tribulation kept falling was because he had yet to advance to the life and death realm. As long as he reached the life and death realm and broke through the shackles of his cultivation base, the rules of the life and death realm thunder tribulation would no longer exist. Even if it continued to fall, after he advanced to the life and death realm, this thunder tribulation was nothing to him. Ka, thunder rumbled down one after another. The powerful laws of space seemed to want to lock Ning Cheng in place and turn him into dust in space. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath and landed on the broken meteorite. Although the thunder tribulation rained down on him, he did not move an inch. Instead, he just crazily condensed his celestial essence. The moment the dense lightning tribulation fell on his body, he suddenly punched out. This was his first time using his sacred art during the lightning tribulation. The lightning tribulation had its own laws of heaven and earth, and he also had his own nomological sacred art. Sunset's twilight. The sunset was infinitely beautiful, but it was nearing dusk. Even the lightning tribulation had its dusk. As such, Ning Cheng did not fear the thunder tribulation that did not have any life. Thunder tribulations endowed with the laws of heaven and earth were equivalent to having life. Thunder tribulations with life also had to face the restrictions of the laws. The thunder tribulation also had dusk. Even if its dusk was very short, it was still dusk. Dusk appeared, and the lightning arcs paused for a moment. This moment might have lasted for several breaths, or perhaps only one breath, or perhaps not even a tenth of a breath. But at this moment, the tribulation thunder indeed paused under the influence of sunset's twilight. The celestial essence that Ning Cheng had crazily gathered poured down like water from a broken dam, directly hitting the barrier of the life and death realm. Boom! Ning Cheng's suppressed cultivation exploded with this sound. Ning Cheng's entire body and mind felt empty at this moment, while his meridians filled with celestial essence suddenly opened up. His powerful cultivation and the laws of heaven and earth instantly flowed through his meridians like a sweet spring. At the same time, the power of laws also became clear at this moment. His starry sky sea of consciousness also started to spread and stretch. In just a moment, Ning Cheng blasted open the cultivation barrier of the life and death realm, breaking through the shackles and advancing to the life and death realm. Bang bang bang. Endless thunder tribulation arcs broke through the dusk and fell on Ning Cheng's body. Bloody marks appeared on Ning Cheng's skin one after another, but those bloody marks disappeared in the blink of an eye. His arm, which had been torn apart by the thunder tribulation, also recovered at this moment. Ning Cheng rushed up again and punched out several times. The thunder tribulation arcs that had not yet fallen directly dissipated under Ning Cheng's punches. When Ning Cheng once again landed on the broken meteorite, not a single lightning arc fell from the endless starry sky, and the entire starry sky regained its tranquility. His life and death realm thunder tribulation had finally passed. Ning Cheng's body forging had advanced to the starry sky body during this thunder tribulation, and his cultivation had truly stepped into the life and death realm. After using several dirt removal techniques on himself, Ning Cheng changed into a set of clean clothes. A moment later, his gaze fell to the distance, where a cultivator had just watched his thunder tribulation. The moment his thunder tribulation disappeared, that cultivator had fled in panic, seemingly afraid that he would settle accounts with him. Ning Cheng wasn't in the mood to find that cultivator to settle accounts with. Instead, he brought out the starry sky wheel and chased after the cultivator. What he wanted to ask was where this place was. However, Ning Cheng didn't chase too far before stopping. He had already recognized this place. He had come to this place once before, when he was being chased by that pale-faced cultivator. This place was the periphery of the ancient Desolace abandoned land. As soon as he thought of the ancient Desolace abandoned land, Ning Cheng immediately recalled the foreign heaven's arrow. The first time he saw the foreign heaven's arrow, he only had heaven's mandate cultivation. Because his spiritual consciousness had swept through the foreign heaven's arrow, he had ended up coughing up a mouthful of blood due to the powerful death suppression. At that time, his cultivation was still too low. Even if he knew that this was the foreign heaven's arrow, even if he knew that this arrow had shot the everlasting blue thunder fort into the void, he still couldn't take away this arrow. Ning Cheng had coveted this arrow for a long time. He didn't know how many years this arrow had remained in this place, but no one had taken it away because no cultivator had the ability to take it away. Now that he had advanced to the life and death realm, even if he didn't come here, he would definitely come here for this arrow in the future. Not to mention that he accidentally came to this place. His cultivation might still fall short of an eternal-level starry sky emperor. However, Ning Cheng believed that he wouldn't fear ordinary eternal-level cultivators. Moreover, he also had one of his biggest secrets, which was his starry sky sea of consciousness. No one could compare to his sea of consciousness, not even eternal-level cultivators. Moreover, his refining method was the mysterious yellow formless, which no one could compare to. Although eternal-level experts couldn't take away this foreign heaven's arrow, it didn't mean that he couldn't. Even if he couldn't take it away, he had to give it a try. As soon as Ning Cheng rushed into the ancient Desolace abandoned land, the desolation, vicissitudes, and broken aura immediately rushed over. Because he had come to the ancient Desolace abandoned land once, Ning Cheng felt a little familiar with this place. Therefore, he didn't go to the merchant ships on the periphery of the ancient Desolace abandoned land. Instead, he planned to head directly to the location of the foreign heaven's arrow. However, Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness still swept out and soon saw an acquaintance, Warren. Warren and Ning Cheng had worked together in the past and obtained a lot of cultivation resources. But now, Ning Cheng understood that Warren hadn't broken through Heaven's Mandate realm and advanced to the Heaven-seated realm. He still remained in Heaven's Mandate realm, and his aura felt a little chaotic. It wasn't even as good as when he teamed up with him. Ning Cheng shook his head. The cultivators who survived in the ancient Desolace abandoned land had to wear their heads on their waists every day. Therefore, it was normal for them to suffer injuries due to encountering dangers. But for cultivators like Warren, who stayed in the ancient Desolace abandoned land all year round, it would be strange if he didn't suffer any injuries. What's more, advancing to the heaven-seated realm wasn't easy. Many cultivators could only linger in the Heaven's Mandate realm for the rest of their lives. Just as Ning Cheng was about to take back his spiritual consciousness, a cultivator standing not far from Warren suddenly raised his palm and slapped Warren's face. Warren's face took the brunt of the slap, and 5 bloody scars appeared on it. However, Warren didn't move, but his eyes flashed with a bit of grievance. Ning Cheng frowned. The cultivator who slapped Warren was at best a cultivator in Heaven's Mandate realm. Why would Warren stand still and let others slap him? Wasn't this not in line with his identity as someone who had adventured in the ancient Desolace abandoned land for many years? At this moment, the cultivator who slapped Warren raised his hand again and slapped him again. Warren still didn't resist. Ning Cheng felt a little uncomfortable. He still had a good impression of Warren. It was because Warren had invited him to the crow's nest that he obtained so many cultivation resources. Now that Warren looked so aggrieved, Ning Cheng naturally felt uncomfortable in his heart. Warren was also his former teammate. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng immediately turned a corner and landed on the merchant ship where Warren was. The cultivator standing in front of Warren once again raised his palm and slapped Warren. Warren still didn't move, but this time, his palm did not hit Warren's face. Instead, a palm appeared out of thin air and grabbed it. The cultivator looked at the person who grabbed his wrist in shock and didn't dare to say a word. He was a cultivator in the Heaven's Mandate realm, yet someone grabbed his wrist and couldn't even move. What could he dare to say? Senior. Warren also recognized Ning Cheng and called out in surprise. Ning Cheng flicked his hand and threw the cultivator who was about to slap Warren far away. He then smiled at Warren and spoke, "It looks like you haven't been doing well recently. Are you Yuanxue and Dodi doing well? My name is Ning Cheng. Don't call me senior in the future. We used to be teammates." Ning Cheng came from Earth and didn't care much about seniority. "Who are you? Why did you attack me?" After Ning Cheng left the cultivator far behind, he finally dared to ask Ning Cheng a question. "I'm Warren's friend. Remember, I haven't done anything to you yet. If I did, do you think you could still stand here?" Ning Cheng glanced at the cultivator and spoke with a calm voice. "What great power! Oh Quan, take another step forward and let him do it. I'd like to see how he plans to attack my O clan's people." A white-robed cultivator appeared in front of Ning Cheng almost at the same time as his voice. Warren quickly bowed and spoke, "Warren greets Senior O." After that, Warren turned to Ning Cheng and spoke, "Brother Ning, this senior is O Jintian of the O clan. He is O Hongxin's uncle." Ning Cheng suddenly understood. O Hongxin had originally teamed up with them and later fell on the Crow Star. However, Ma Shiman killed O Hongxin, which meant that this matter had nothing to do with Warren. Now that the O clan's people came, it seemed like they wanted to put the blame on Warren. It was simply ridiculous. Chapter 702. Ma Shiman killed O Hongxin, and I killed Ma Shiman to avenge him. This matter has nothing to do with Warren. Ning Cheng spoke with a calm voice. This Zhou Zhintian in front of him was just a cultivator who had just advanced to the heaven-seated realm. To be honest, Ning Qing didn't put him in his eyes. But considering Zhou Hongxin's death, he didn't care about Zhou Zhintian's attitude. Warren was the captain of the original team. Since Zhou Hongxin died, he also had to bear some responsibility. Being beaten up by people from the Zhou clan, he could only blame his bad luck. You're the cultivator named Qing Yanqiong, right? So you're very powerful. In other words, you also had a part in Hongxin's death. Oh Quan, go slap me a few times and take these two back. Zhou Zhintian spoke with an emotionless tone. He had been looking for this Qing Yanqiong everywhere, but he didn't expect him to come to him. Zhou Quan shrunk his neck. How could he dare to go forward and hit Ning Qing? Zhou Zhintian on seeing Zhou Quan not daring to step forward suddenly frowned. Without waiting for him to speak, Ning Qing laughed. According to what you said, the people from the Zhou clan should take a nanny with them when they go out for a trial. Oh, by the way, they should have a maid to help them dress and bathe. Huh, your Zhou clan's people are so precious. Why would they go out for a trial? Wouldn't it be safer to hide at home? After saying that, Ning Qing didn't bother with Zhou Zhintian and directly spoke to Warren. Warren, come with me. Ning Qing guessed that if he said those words, Zhou Zhintian would definitely start. For the sake of Zhou Hongxin, Ning Qing didn't plan to teach this Zhou Zhintian a lesson. Brother Ning, I can't go. Yuan Xue has been taken to the Zhou clan. I. Warren hesitated and whispered. He didn't know that Zhou Hongxin's family was so powerful before. He thought that Zhou Hongxin was like them, a rogue cultivator whose death no one knew about. Who knew that Zhou Hongxin's death would cause such a big incident? Ning Qing raised his eyebrows, and his face sank. His tone no longer had the previous calmness. Zhou Zhintian, did your Zhou clan also capture Yuan Xue? Zhou Zhintian took a step forward, raised his hand and grabbed towards Ning Qing, and spoke, you're right, since you also have a share, then let's go to the grave together with Hong Xian. A powerful imposing aura came crashing down, but this kind of imposing aura dissipated without a trace in the face of Ning Qing's wave of a hand. Ning Qing also took a step forward and reached out to grab it. As a heaven-seated cultivator, Zhou Zhintian was naturally not an idiot. Ning Qing took a step forward, and his domain collapsed in an instant. The imposing aura he radiated immediately dissipated and was replaced by a powerful killing power that pressed down on his head. Feeling this aura that made him unable to move, Zhou Zhintian's face turned pale. At this moment, he understood that Ning Qing wasn't a heaven's mandate cultivator at all, but an eternal starry sky emperor. Apart from an eternal-level powerhouse, who else could suppress him to the point that he couldn't even move? Not waiting for Zhou Zhintian to put up any resistance, Ning Qing's hand had already grabbed Zhou Zhintian's neck and lifted the relatively short Zhou Zhintian into the air. Zhou Zhintian was a heaven-seated cultivator, yet Ning Qing picked him up like a chicken. His feet dangled in the air, and his face turned as red as a pig's liver. As a heaven-seated cultivator, even if he didn't breathe, he wouldn't suffocate to death. But on this merchant ship, someone picked him up like a chicken. How could he, Zhou Zhintian, still have the face to see anyone? You mean, your Zhou clan also took away Yuan Xue? Ning Qing's voice no longer had the warmth from before, and it also turned ice-cold. Warren and Zhou Quan on seeing Ning Qing pick up the heaven-seated powerhouse Zhou Zhintian like a chicken suddenly froze. What kind of cultivation did one need to have such power? Warren knew that Ning Qing had a high cultivation, but he didn't expect Ning Qing to be this strong. By this time, many cultivators had already gathered around the deck of the merchant ship. These cultivators all looked at Ning Qing in shock. Where did this powerhouse come from? Zhou Zhintian had come here to investigate Zhou Hongxin's matter, and everyone knew him. This was a powerhouse in the heaven-seated realm. But now, this heaven-seated powerhouse was picked up by someone without even a shred of resistance. If Yuan Xue loses even half a hair, I will make a trip to the Zhou clan. Ning Qing picked up Zhou Zhintian and spoke with a cold voice. Oh Jintian felt as if his heart had been poured with the coldest ice water. The previous humiliation had long since disappeared, replaced by fear and panic. The O clan didn't even have a single eternal cultivator. A powerhouse who could pick him up like this could definitely destroy the entire O clan. Killing O Jintian would be as easy as crushing an ant. Just when O Jintian was still in a state of panic, something suddenly appeared in his dantian. Before he could understand what was going on, Ning Cheng threw him onto the deck of the merchant ship. "Oh Jintian, I placed a restriction in your dantian. I don't have time to talk to you right now. After I finish my business, I will go to your O clan for a visit. If I don't unlock this restriction within a year, do you know what will happen to you?" I know. Oh Jintian didn't care about face at this time. "Warren, I have something to do. I will come back here within a year. If you have any news, send me a message. My communication pearl can still be used." After Ning Cheng threatened Oh Jintian, he gave Warren some instructions. He was in a hurry to refine the Foreign Heavens arrow and didn't have time to go to the O clan. He believed that the O clan wasn't stupid and wouldn't kill Warren and Yuan Shue for something like this. Senior, Yuan Shue was taken to Culmination Starland. Within a year, this junior can't bring her back here. Oh Jintian's tone sounded as if he was about to cry. In fact, he wanted to take away Yuan Shue and Warren to vent his anger and establish his prestige. Naturally, he also wanted to know what good things Warren, Yuan Shue and the others obtained on the Crow Star. Even an idiot would know that this matter had nothing to do with Yuan Shue and Warren. Oh Jintian had just advanced to the heaven-seated realm when he learned that Oh Hongxin, who participated in the ancient Desolace Abandoned Lands trial, had fallen. Naturally, he wanted to establish his prestige. However, the person who killed Oh Hongxin had already died, and he couldn't find a target to establish his prestige. Coupled with his investigation, he also learned that a fellow named Cheng Nianxiong had taken away all the good things on the Crow Star. Cheng Nianxiong, Warren, Yuan Shue and Oh Hongxin were in the same team. Since Cheng Nianxiong got the majority, Warren and the others would definitely get a share. Then wait for me in Culmination Starland within a year. If I don't see you when I arrive at Culmination Starland, you know the consequences. Ning Cheng spoke without even a shred of politeness. Oh Jintian quickly spoke up, yes, senior. Where in Culmination Starland will this junior wait for senior? Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City's Baichi Artifact Crafting Store. Ning Cheng replied casually. Once he returned to Culmination Starland, he would have to go to Baichi Artifact Crafting Store to see Jian Jiao. Ning. Senior, I'll also go with you. I invited Yuan Shue into the team. If something happens to her, I also have some responsibility. Warren quickly spoke up. After learning about Ning Cheng's terrifying cultivation, he no longer dared to continue addressing Ning Cheng as Brother Ning. Ning Cheng could only let him be and turn to Oh Jintian, take Warren to Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. I'll come back within a year. Yes. How could Oh Jintian dare to say even half a word at this time? Ning Cheng guessed that the O clan would not start a feud with him over Warren and Yuan Shue. Seeing Oh Jintian agree, he also bid farewell to Warren and left. If he could refine the Foreign Heavens arrow, it would not take more than a year. If he couldn't refine it, then even a few more years would not help him. Therefore, Ning Cheng set a 1-year appointment. After Ning Cheng advanced to the life and death realm, both his cultivation and his body forging had reached an extremely high level. Although the periphery of the ancient Desolace Abandoned Land was filled with dangers, these dangers could not harm Ning Cheng. In just half a day, Ning Cheng once again arrived at the periphery of the Foreign Heavens arrow. Unlike the previous time when his spiritual consciousness swept over, Ning Cheng now stood at the edge of this broken starry field. A huge black arrow stabbed into the middle of the starry field, and a powerful death suppression came crashing down, squeezing Ning Cheng's celestial river domain. Previously, when Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept over this giant arrow, it had forced him to spit out a mouthful of blood. But today, Ning Cheng stood right outside this giant arrow, completely unaffected. From this giant arrow, Ning Cheng could only feel a powerful killing intent. This killing intent carried with it a whistling sound that pierced through the starry sky. If it were a cultivator with a weaker mind, under this powerful killing intent, they would have already crawled on the ground. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath and slowly approached the giant arrow. Since it was something that even eternal cultivators couldn't refine, even if he wanted to give it a try, he wouldn't act too recklessly. When Ning Cheng was about 100 miles away from the giant black arrow, the black arrow suddenly gave out a buzzing sound. An invisible killing intent shot out from the black arrow, and this invisible killing intent quickly transformed into a substantial arrow shadow. Ning Cheng's celestial river domain couldn't resist it at all, and the arrows filled with killing intent directly rushed into Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness. Ning Cheng's expressions changed. He finally understood why no one had refined this black arrow to this day. He was now about 100 miles away from the black arrow, yet this killing intent had already rushed into his sea of consciousness. If he got any closer, the killing intent would have definitely surged towards him, and it wouldn't stop until he died. What Ning Cheng didn't expect was that the everlasting blue thunder fort, which required him to mobilize to resist the black arrow, also started to tremble after the buzzing sound from the black arrow. The moment the black arrow entered Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness, the everlasting blue thunder fort immediately rushed up. Lightning arcs burst out from the everlasting blue thunder fort and collided with the black arrow's killing intent. Ning Cheng's starry sky sea of consciousness instantly turned into a battlefield. But at this time, Ning Cheng hadn't started yet. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath. He understood the restlessness of the everlasting blue thunder fort. Although the everlasting blue thunder fort's artifact spirit wasn't here, the everlasting blue thunder fort had fallen into the void because of this black arrow. Moreover, its artifact spirit had also gone missing because of this black arrow. Now that they met again, it could be said to be the meeting of enemies. If the artifact spirit were here, this hatred would have been countless times more intense. Chapter 703. Although this black arrow was powerful, it had been stuck here for who knows how many years. Moreover, it was an ownerless object. The arrow intense murderous aura invaded Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness, however, it had long since lost its previous valiance and was directly blocked by Ning Cheng's everlasting blue thunder fort. As Ning Cheng moved forward once again, the black arrow seemed to have sensed Ning Cheng's approach, causing it to hum and tremble even more. At the same time, an increasingly powerful killing intent started to spread out from the black arrow, constantly transforming into endless arrow intents that shot towards Ning Cheng. However, this time the arrow intent did not continue to blast into Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness, but directly wrapped around Ning Cheng. Even if Ning Cheng advanced to the life and death realm, his celestial river domain still couldn't completely block the remnant arrow intent's murderous intent. Puff puff puff. The arrow intent's murderous aura completely exploded on Ning Cheng's body. However, this powerful murderous aura only managed to tear a few tears in Ning Cheng's robes. It couldn't do anything to Ning Cheng. This also showed the power of the starry sky body. If he still had a celestial river body, then in the face of such a powerful arrow intent filled with killing intent, he would have no choice but to bring out a weapon to resist it. Once he used his magic treasure to resist, he would not be able to refine this black arrow. No wonder this black arrow had been here for so long without anyone refining it. Not to mention the powerful killing intent that invaded his sea of consciousness, even this domain-breaking arrow intent was hard to block. Fortunately, he still had the everlasting blue thunder fort in his sea of consciousness, and his body forging had just advanced to the starry sky body. These were insurmountable obstacles for others, but they were effortless for him. As Ning Cheng approached, the black arrow trembled even more fiercely. The buzzing sound seemed to contain a powerful anger, while the killing power coming from the arrow's intent also grew more and more powerful. However, Ning Qing still continued to move forward step by step, ignoring the killing intent emanating from the black arrow. In front of his starry sky body, these killing intents could not tear apart his body. When Ning Qing arrived in front of the black arrow, he suddenly raised his hand and grabbed the shaft of the black arrow, while his spiritual consciousness immediately penetrated into it. The moment Ning Qing grabbed the shaft of the black arrow, a shadowless killing intent suddenly rushed into Ning Qing's starry sky sea of consciousness, even avoiding the everlasting blue thunder fort. A tearing pain came through, causing Ning Qing to feel incomparably horrified in his heart. Once this killing intent penetrated his sea of consciousness, even if he didn't die, he would be severely injured. Even if he had the sifting fairy grass, Ning Qing did not dare to try it. Almost without even thinking about it, Ning Qing's thoughts immediately communicated with the imperial jade seal that was filled with the power of hope. In addition to the everlasting blue thunder city, the only magical weapon that could help him in his sea of consciousness was the imperial jade seal. The grade of the celestial river flame was too low and could not be used against the enemy. The imperial jade seal, under the control of Ning Qing's thoughts, turned into a golden light, as it transformed into a giant mountain, which smashed into the shadowless killing intent in his sea of consciousness. Boom! A terrifying explosion raged within Ning Qing's sea of consciousness, causing Ning Qing to almost faint from the explosion. His sea of consciousness trembled violently, as if an earthquake had suddenly occurred. The shadowless killing intent released by the black arrow vaguely let out a sharp screech, but under the great pressure of the jade seal, it turned into nothingness. Ning Qing felt relieved, as his spiritual consciousness crazily invaded the black arrow and began to refine it. After Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness invaded the black arrow, the prestige of the black arrow seemed to have dissipated. It no longer had the strength to attack Ning Qing, and could only form one obstacle after another around the restrictions. Ning Qing had already steeled his heart to refine this black arrow. Even if this black arrow had many obstacles, his spiritual consciousness combined with his celestial essence continued to bombard it one after another, just like a rolling wave, without end. As the stalemate continued, the killing intent around black arrow gradually shrank. No matter how fast the killing intent shrank, no matter how strong the defense, it could not stop Ning Qing's refining speed. Not knowing how much time passed, the black arrow and Ning Qing's sea of consciousness simultaneously issued a slight catch-a sound, and the black arrow's resistance instantly weakened. Ning Qing felt happy in his heart. He knew that he had refined the first layer of restrictions on this black arrow. Everything was difficult at the beginning. Now that the first layer of restrictions had been refined, the later layers of restrictions were like bamboo in front of Ning Qing, breaking apart and falling into Ning Qing's control. This was the 37th day since Ning Qing sat here and refined the black arrow. Ning Qing completely forgot about all the disturbances around him while refining the black arrow. Because of Ning Qing refining the black arrow, the killing intent around the black arrow started to converge, alarming some of the cultivators who came here. As the first cultivator discovered that someone was refining the black arrow, the killing intent around the black arrow also weakened, causing more and more cultivators to rush over. At this time, the periphery of the broken star where the black arrow was located was already filled with all kinds of cultivators. These people all looked at Ning Qing refining the black arrow in awe. Which powerhouse is this? How could he refine the foreign heaven's arrow? It should be a Tao-confirming powerhouse. That's absolutely it. Eternal-level starry sky emperors can't do this. If only I could become this senior's disciple. Don't even dream about it. This kind of powerhouse would never accept a disciple here. Before, they couldn't even get close to this broken star. But because someone was refining the black arrow, they could finally see the black arrow up close. The cultivators who could watch Ning Qing refine the black arrow were all rogue cultivators who sought survival in the ancient Desolace abandoned land. The news spread out at the fastest speed, causing more and more cultivators to rush over from afar. Even some eternal-level starry sky emperors had received the news and rushed to the ancient Desolace abandoned land. Who wouldn't want a treasure like the foreign heaven's arrow? Now that someone was about to refine it, who wouldn't care about it? However, they were doomed to not be able to witness Ning Cheng refining the Black Arrow, let alone participate in the competition for the Black Arrow. After more than a month of refining, Ning Cheng had already gained full control over the Black Arrow. He suddenly stood up and raised his hand to pull it out. The huge Black Arrow whistled through the air and left the broken star. Boom! As soon as the Black Arrow left the broken star exploded into pieces and dissipated into the endless void of the ancient Desolace abandoned land. After the Black Arrow fell into Ning Cheng's hand, it quickly shrank and even started to fade in color. In just a few breaths, the Black Arrow shrank to only a few feet in size. Ning Cheng put the Black Arrow into his ring and gave out a joyful roar. At the same time, he brought out the Starry Sky Wheel. The next moment, the Starry Sky Wheel tore through the air and disappeared over the ancient Desolace abandoned land. Even spiritual consciousness couldn't catch up to it. Ning Cheng had just left when some nearby eternal-level powerhouses rushed over. However, they were a step too late and couldn't even catch a glimpse of the Black Arrow. Someone refined and took away the foreign heaven's arrow? An eternal-level powerhouse stared at the place where the broken star disappeared and muttered to himself with a frown. His tone also contained a strong killing intent. Who didn't want the foreign heaven's arrow? But now, someone he didn't even know had refined it and taken it away. How could he tolerate it? Brother Peng, although we all want the foreign heaven's arrow, I also have a bit of self-awareness. Someone who can take away the heaven's arrow, hee. An eternal cultivator who had just arrived spoke up after hearing those words. The eternal-level cultivator, who previously had a strong killing intent, gave out a sigh when he heard those words, and the killing intent in his eyes gradually dissipated. He understood the meaning behind those words. Since the other party could refine the heaven's arrow and even take away the foreign heaven's arrow, he definitely couldn't compare to them. If one day he really met the powerhouse who took away the foreign heaven's arrow, he would most likely be the one to fall. Since Ning Cheng dared to openly take away the foreign heaven's arrow, he naturally didn't fear any eternal-level cultivators. It's just that he didn't want to clash with other eternal-level powerhouses unless it was a last resort. Therefore, as soon as he obtained the foreign heaven's arrow, he immediately left. Ning Cheng had refined the Starry Sky Wheel to the 81st layer of restrictions, which allowed him to move several times faster than before. Ning Cheng called out Chasing Bull and let Chasing Bull control the Starry Sky Wheel to head towards Culmination Starland while he continued to refine the foreign heaven's arrow. The restrictions on this Black Arrow seemed to be endless. As soon as Ning Cheng refined a layer of restrictions, another layer of restrictions immediately appeared on it. Moreover, the more Ning Cheng refined it, the weaker the Black Arrow became. Ning Cheng even suspected that one day, after he completely refined this Black Arrow, the Black Arrow would turn into nothingness. Ning Cheng ignored it and focused on refining the entire Black Arrow. Even if he refined the Black Arrow into nothingness, he would never give up. 70th layer of restrictions, 71st layer of restrictions. 80th layer of restrictions, 92nd layer of restrictions. 98th layer of restrictions. Another month passed by, and Ning Cheng had already refined the 106th layer of restrictions. The Black Arrow had already turned into a faint shadow, but it still hadn't been refined. 107th layer of restrictions, 108th layer of restrictions. Catcha. A slight sound emerged, and Ning Cheng looked at his palm in shock. The Black Arrow originally had a faint shadow, but after he refined the 108th layer of restrictions, the shadow disappeared without a trace. Did this foreign heaven's arrow disappear after he refined it? Before Ning Cheng could continue to search for the reason, a stream of information poured into Ning Cheng's mind. 5-colored star splitter arrow, no bow, no arrow, no stars not split. This arrow was clearly black in color, but it had the name, Five-Colored Star Splitter Arrow. Ning Qing wouldn't have felt surprised even if it was called the colorless star splitter arrow. But 5 colors, where did these 5 colors come from? No bow, no arrow, no stars not split. What did this mean? Moreover, where did the 5-colored star splitter arrow he had just refined go? Ning Qing quickly found out where the arrow had gone. There was a faint shadow on his wrist that he couldn't even see with his eyes. As soon as he tried to communicate with it, he could clearly feel that the arrow on his wrist was still colorless. Ning Qing determined that this arrow was the same foreign heavens arrow he had just refined. Ning Qing's thoughts rolled up, wanting to bring out the arrow to give it a try. Immediately, he felt a majestic and boundless murderous aura. This murderous aura permeated the entire arrow. Ning Qing had a hunch that if he wanted to bring out this arrow, he would have to exhaust almost all of his celestial essence and spiritual consciousness. Moreover, he might not even be able to bring it out completely. What a powerful 5-colored star splitter arrow, Ning Qing thought as he sucked in a breath of cold air. He naturally had a clear understanding of his own cultivation, and he had always had confidence in his spiritual consciousness. However, he couldn't bring out this black arrow. This arrow was just too ferocious. Chapter 704. Master, we've reached the periphery of Grand Culmination Starry Sky. Chasing Bull's voice arrived just in time. Ning Qing didn't intend to exhaust all of his celestial essence to test this arrow. But since Chasing Bull mentioned the periphery of Grand Culmination Starry Sky, he decided to put this matter aside. Master, you are now mighty and brave, with unrivaled spiritual techniques. Even the Starry Sky Emperors would piss their pants in fear when they see Master. Can this little one not stay inside and just follow Master outside? Chasing Bull saw that Ning Qing seemed to be in a good mood and quickly followed behind him with a flattering tone. Ning Qing knew that Chasing Bull's mouth deserved a beating, so it didn't get along with the exploding golden wasps. Moreover, there was more than one exploding golden wasp in the true spirit world, which meant that Chasing Bull probably did not have a good time inside. Now that Chasing Bull wanted to come out for a breath of fresh air, he also felt that it was nothing. Even if people knew that he was the wind-seeking heavenly bull, Chuan Xinlo would also know that he took away the starry sky wheel. What could Chuan Xinlo do to him? I can completely conceal my aura now. I'm sure no one will be able to tell that I'm a wind-seeking heavenly bull. What they saw was a bull. Chasing Bull, on seeing Ning Qing's intention to loosen his mouth, spoke up with even more assurance. Ning Qing gave an "n" sound. In that case, you do not need to enter the ring. I'll help you set up a few more aura concealing restrictions, and no one should be able to tell that you're a wind-seeking heavenly bull. Chasing Bull could now do more and more things, and Ning Qing felt that it was even more useful than the exploding golden wasps. Therefore, he decided to satisfy Chasing Bull's small request. Many thanks, Master. Chasing Bull quickly thanked him. Although Ning Qing did not fear Chuan Xinlo, he still wanted to save himself some trouble. With his aura concealing restriction and Chasing Bull's own aura concealing restriction, unless the other party forcibly used their spiritual consciousness to investigate, they would never be able to see Chasing Bull's true body. If someone forcibly checked Chasing Bull, it would be considered a provocation. Since they were provoking him, don't blame him for making a move. Standing outside the eternal heaven starry sky city, Ning Qing felt a myriad of emotions in his heart. After so many years, he returned to this place once again. When he first came here, he hid his identity and trembled with fear. But today, he came back openly, followed by a triumphant Chasing Bull. Why do I feel that you are somewhat familiar? A female voice sounded out from Ning Qing's side. The one who spoke was a beautiful middle-aged woman with an Empyrean realm cultivation base. Ning Qing showed a faint smile. You're naturally familiar with me. When I was on the ship under the alias of Qing Yinxiong, you even questioned me. In the past, he had almost been seen through by this beautiful woman. At that time, if he had been seen through by this beautiful woman, he would have been completely finished. "It's you." The beautiful woman raised her eyebrows, as a powerful imposing aura immediately enveloped Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng didn't move at all. When the beautiful woman's powerful heaven-seated imposing aura fell on Ning Cheng, it instantly dissipated. The middle-aged woman's face changed. Apart from eternal realm powerhouses, who else could dissolve her imposing aura without moving? Could it be that this person was an eternal realm expert and had hidden himself because of his injuries? Thinking of this, cold sweat suddenly oozed out of the middle-aged woman's forehead. Chasing Bull spoke up with disdain, "Just a small one." At this point, Chasing Bull stopped and asked, "Master, what is this woman's cultivation?" "Sky Realm." Ning Cheng knew that Chasing Bull was only a starry sky grade 6 demonic beast, and it couldn't see through this middle-aged woman's cultivation. Yes, a small heaven-seated woman dares to use her imposing aura against Master. Be careful, this Grandpa Bull will trample you to death. Chasing Bull deliberately took a step forward, raised its head, and stomped its hooves. It spoke with an even more disdainful tone. No wonder it felt proud of itself and followed behind Ning Cheng. It had countless medicinal pills and even more cultivation resources. With its wind-seeking heavenly bull's body, it might not take long to advance to Starry Sky Grade 7. At that time, this old bull would also be a heaven-seated powerhouse. Of course, other people in the heaven-seated realm were ants, but Chasing Bull was a powerhouse in the heaven-seated realm. "Greetings, Senior." The middle-aged woman no longer had the same murderous aura as before. Instead, she bowed her head in fear. Ning Cheng asked in a calm voice, "What did you want to investigate when you called me over on the ship?" The middle-aged woman thought that Ning Cheng wanted to pursue the past, which made her feel even more anxious. This junior heard that a rootless green bamboo had appeared in that drifting starland. "So you want to know if I took away the rootless green bamboo?" Ning Cheng's tone turned stern. The middle-aged woman quickly spoke up, "This junior doesn't dare." "Please forgive me, Senior." "I can forgive you, but what other treasures appeared in that drifting starland?" Ning Cheng just casually asked this question. He didn't want to do anything to this middle-aged woman. Although this middle-aged woman treated him fiercely, she didn't really hurt him. Ning Cheng only asked this question because he had obtained the rootless green bamboo in that drifting starland. He also wanted to know what other treasures appeared in that drifting starland apart from the rootless green bamboo. Would it be similar to the immortal jade star? There is also breath soil. The beautiful middle-aged woman's words had not yet finished, when she was interrupted by Ning Cheng. "What did you say?" "Breath soil." Breath soil also appeared in that drifting starland. Even Ning Cheng couldn't contain the excitement in his heart. He actually heard about breath soil, which was incredible. One had to know that if he wanted to completely refine his weapon, breath soil was an essential ingredient. Because of the preciousness of breath soil, he had even given up the idea of refining a long spear. He never expected to hear about breath soil today. Even if he didn't refine a long spear, breath soil was still very precious to him. No, Ning Cheng felt that something was wrong after asking this question. If there really was breath soil, this middle-aged woman wouldn't have spoken about it. Even if his imposing aura grew more oppressive, she wouldn't have spoken about it. Sure enough, this middle-aged woman immediately spoke up, "Senior, please forgive me. This junior didn't speak clearly. It's a small piece of soil where breath soil was stored. That piece of soil once contained breath soil, which is why it has the aura of breath soil." Ning Cheng's reaction when he heard about breath soil was exactly the same as her reaction when she first heard about it. That's right, no cultivator could ignore the shocking value of breath soil. Despite Ning Cheng's eagerness, this middle-aged woman still said that she didn't speak clearly. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh. How could there be such a good thing in this world? How could he casually inquire about breath soil? Where is the piece of soil that stored breath soil now? Ning Cheng's tone returned to normal. He felt that his performance just now was a bit inappropriate. Even if there was breath soil in front of him, he could only think about it. Moreover, he couldn't act so eager just because this middle-aged woman's cultivation wasn't as good as his. Happy Wave Chamber of Commerce obtained that piece of breath soil, and we later bought it. We auctioned it off in the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. The middle-aged woman spoke with a respectful tone. Who bought it? Ning Cheng asked with a calm tone, but with an unquestionable attitude. The middle-aged woman quickly replied, this junior doesn't know. Our things were auctioned off in the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall. Ning Cheng knew about the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall, which was the largest merchant house in the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. He had also done business with the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall and sold a time stone. I see. You can go. Ning Cheng nodded. Many thanks, senior. This junior will take her leave. The middle-aged woman suppressed the fear in her heart and retreated to the side. Ning Cheng didn't care about this middle-aged woman. When his cultivation was still low, he also felt the same fear and trepidation in front of this middle-aged woman. Walking into the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City with Chasing Bull, Ning Cheng once again felt the prosperity of this place. It had not changed at all since he came here in the past. No one felt surprised that Ning Cheng entered the Starry Sky City with a demonic ox companion beast. There were many cultivators who brought demonic beasts into the city, especially ox-type companion beasts. The Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City had restrictions everywhere, which made it impossible to sweep out with one's spiritual consciousness. Ning Cheng arrived at Celestial Immortal Street's Bai Chi Artifact Crafting Store and found that the original Bai Chi Artifact Crafting Store was gone. At a glance, Ning Cheng understood that the new store was newly built. From the looks of it, the rumors that Zhongli Bai Chi and a Starry Sky Emperor fought in the Bai Chi Artifact Crafting Store and razed it to the ground were true. Ning Cheng then arrived at the store given to him by Chuan Xinlo. The store's door was tightly closed, and there was no sign of Bai Chi Artifact Crafting Store. Jian Jiao and junior apprentice Sister Yen were also not here. The restrictions and array formations in the store looked very low-level and had been arranged before he left. Ning Cheng opened the store's restrictions and found no one inside. Ning Cheng guessed that no one had lived in this store for more than a year, which meant that Jian Jiao had still been living here a year ago. Excuse me, are you Ning Cheng? A shop assistant from a nearby clothing store saw Ning Cheng open the store and immediately came over to ask. Yes, I'm Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng replied. The shop assistant quickly replied, Jian Jiao teamed up with someone else and went out. He said that if his senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng came back, he should let me bring a message. He will definitely come back within 2 years. If he doesn't come back within 2 years, then there is no need to wait for him. Do you know where senior apprentice Sister Yen went with Jian Jiao? Jian Jiao appeared to look for cultivation resources on his own, which made Ning Cheng feel a little emotional in his heart. If something happened to Jian Jiao, he would definitely feel a little guilty. After all, Tsang Wei had entrusted Jian Jiao to him. I know, senior apprentice Sister Yan's master came and took her away. The shop assistant replied immediately. Many thanks. Ning Cheng thanked the shop assistant and walked into the store. Sure enough, Zhongli Bai Chi took away Tsin Yen but ignored Jian Jiao. Ning Cheng had originally planned to hang the name Bai Chi Artifact Crafting Store in this store. Since Zhongli Bai Chi took away junior apprentice Sister Yen and ignored Jian Jiao, he no longer needed to hang the name. The master-disciple relationship between him and Zhongli Bai Chi was completely temporary, and there was no formal apprenticeship ceremony. As for Zhongli Bai Chi taking him in, most likely it was to let him participate in the artifact crafting competition. As for Zhou Zhentian, Ning Cheng guessed that he should not have arrived at Culmination Starland so soon. Even if Zhongli Baichi's artifact crafting store was destroyed, Zhou Zhentian would definitely find its location. With his threat to Zhou Zhentian would definitely wait for him outside the original location of Zhongli Baiqi's artifact crafting store. Thinking of this, Ning Qing rearranged the array formations and restrictions around the store and simply named it Qing Rulan Artifact Crafting Store. Chapter 705. Aunt Su, are you sure you didn't mistake him for someone else? Striking Order Heavenly Emperor suddenly stood up and looked at a middle-aged woman in front of him in amazement. This middle-aged woman was the female cultivator Ning Qing had met before entering the city. However, at this time, she had already reported everything about Ning Qing to Striking Order Heavenly Emperor. Aunt Su spoke up with even more certainty, Heavenly Emperor, that cultivator admitted it himself. I secretly inquired about him and found out that his name is Ning Qing. After he entered the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City, he went to an empty shop and named it Qing Rulan Artifact Crafting Store. It turned out to be owned by a cultivator named Jian Jiao. Let me have a look at his image. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor frowned. If there really was such a powerhouse, what did he mean by hiding on the ship heading to Culmination Starland? Aunt Su raised her hand and projected Ning Qing's image into the void. It's him. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor looked at Ning Qing's image in confusion and shock. Does Heavenly Emperor know this person? Aunt Su asked carefully. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor pondered for a long time before speaking. I've seen him once. He should be representing a celestial river in the Celestial Scryer Genius Tryouts. At the Tao Discussion Convention in Striking Order Starland's Lucky Heaven City, he seemed to be a celestial novice cultivator without a celestial wheel. How many years has it been since then? Even if his cultivation grew fast, he could never become an eternal-level powerhouse. Although Ning Qing was sitting in a corner, Striking Order Heavenly Emperor could easily form an impression with just a casual sweep of his spiritual consciousness. The image drawn by Aunt Su looked a bit more vicissitudes and a beard compared to before. However, Striking Order Heavenly Emperor could not be sure about it. But now that he saw the image, he managed to recall some of his vague memories. Wait. He seems to have participated in an artifact crafting competition. That's not right. Since he came from Striking Order Starland, how could he be Zhongli Baiqi's disciple? Striking Order Heavenly Emperor did not care about a minor character like Ning Qing. However, once he did, some of his memories would start to surface. Even if Ning Qing had changed his appearance, as long as there was even a hint of the same aura, he would immediately link it to him. Did he hide his cultivation at that time? Aunt Su asked with uncertainty. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor shook his head. That shouldn't be the case. If he really was an expert, there would be no need for him to attend the Tao Discussion Conference. The only possibility was that he had truly advanced from the celestial novice realm to the eternal realm in just a few years. Of course, there is also the possibility that his celestial novice cultivation method was fake. For me to not be able to see through such a concealment cultivation method, it truly is not simple. Aunt Su took in a deep breath and asked in confusion, Heavenly Emperor, even if he had a celestial gatherer cultivation at that time, he couldn't have advanced to the eternal realm in such a short time. Besides, even if he really advanced to the eternal realm, this speed would definitely cause his foundation to be unstable. How could he survive? If that's really the case, then this person must have some sort of treasure on him. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor then exhorted, Aunt Su, don't speak about this matter. It would not do us any good. If we end up venting our anger on this person, we would have one more enemy. I'll take some time to visit him and find out more about him. After Ning Qing changed the name of the shop to Qing Rulan Crafting, he did not really do any business. Apart from letting Chasing Bull look after the store, Ning Qing had been using the Scarlet Crow Flame to refine pills. Ning Qing's alchemy level was already on the verge of a breakthrough, and he could now easily refine grade 7 Starry Sky medicinal pills. However, Ning Qing did not intend to come out of seclusion. He intended to refine grade 8 Starry Sky medicinal pills before coming out. He now had a lot of spare time and a lot of spiritual grasses on him. Therefore, he naturally wanted to make good use of them. When Striking Order Heavenly Emperor came to visit, Ning Cheng had already been in seclusion for more than half a month. "Who are you looking for?" Chasing Bull looked at Striking Order Heavenly Emperor from top to bottom before raising its head and asking without any hurry. Recently, it had been living in a reverie. Without those little bees buzzing around, it could even enjoy the bustling scene of the eternal heaven starry sky city. What could be more comfortable than this? A grade 6 starry sky demonic beast dared to speak to him in such a manner, causing Striking Order Heavenly Emperor to feel a little annoyed. But thinking about the eternal level powerhouse behind Chasing Bull, he could only suppress his anger and speak up, "Is Dao friend Ning Cheng here? I'm an old friend of his, and I came to visit." Chasing Bull flicked its tail, "Come back in a month." Master said that this seclusion would last at least a month and a half. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor gave a cold snort. He was an eternal level starry sky emperor who controlled a starry sky. Even if this place was the eternal heaven starry sky city, he couldn't stand such an attitude. However, when his spiritual consciousness swept through the array formation upstairs, his anger disappeared in an instant. The array formations here were all grade 7 starry sky arrays, which not only included defensive arrays but also killing arrays. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor was an eternal level powerhouse, but even he couldn't arrange a starry sky array. The level of one's Dao confirming realm had nothing to do with one's cultivation. The Dao of array formations required countless hours of verification and deduction. Regardless of whether this Ning Cheng was a starry sky emperor or not, Ning Cheng's Dao confirming realm level had already shocked him. "What else do you want?" Seeing Striking Order Heavenly Emperor not leaving, Chasing Bull spoke up with some dissatisfaction. This fellow had never seen the world before, and its first master was also a fellow with low cultivation. But now that Ning Cheng's cultivation had risen, Chasing Bull didn't even put Striking Order Heavenly Emperor in his eyes. It truly felt like a dog fight. No, it should be a bull fighting with its master's power. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor suppressed his dissatisfaction and spoke up, "It's like this. A month from now, Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain will host a spirit fruit banquet. I have 3 invitations, and because I'm an old friend of Dao friend Ning, I specially sent one over. If Ning Cheng truly came from Striking Order Starland, then Striking Order Heavenly Emperor definitely wanted to win him over. The more eternal cultivators a starry sky had, the more powerful that starry sky would become. He had indeed received 3 invitations and had even sent one to Tangyitang. This time, he came to see Ning Cheng to see how strong Ning Cheng was. If Ning Cheng was worth winning over, then he would send one to Ning Cheng to build a friendship. Although he didn't see Ning Cheng, he saw the array formations arranged by Ning Cheng. Even if Ning Cheng's cultivation wasn't in the eternal realm, such a powerful array formation grandmaster was worth winning over. In any place, there weren't many array emperors who could arrange grade 7 starry sky arrays. When Chasing Bull heard about the spirit fruit banquet, its tone immediately turned polite, "Master will definitely attend the spirit fruit banquet. You can leave the invitation with me, and I'll leave it with Master." Striking Order Heavenly Emperor didn't want to waste time with this stupid bull and sent out an invitation. "In that case, I'll wait for Brother Ning at Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain." Ning Cheng didn't stay for a month before coming out of seclusion. He had successfully refined grade 8 starry sky pills. After advancing to grade 8 starry sky pill emperor, Ning Cheng didn't go into seclusion. Firstly, his flame couldn't refine grade 9 starry sky medicinal pills. Secondly, he didn't have many top-grade starry sky spiritual grasses. "Master, a person named Striking Order came to see you. I said that you were in seclusion, but he left an invitation saying that the Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain is hosting a spirit fruit banquet and invited you to attend." Chasing Bull happily took out the invitation. It looked forward to Ning Cheng taking it to the spirit fruit banquet. Ning Cheng didn't expect that Striking Order Heavenly Emperor would still be in Culmination Starland. Therefore, he didn't find it strange that Striking Order Heavenly Emperor came looking for him. Since Striking Order Heavenly Emperor came here, he must have gotten the news from that middle-aged woman. Ning Cheng looked at the date on the invitation and saw that there were only 2 days left. Putting away the invitation, Ning Cheng didn't plan to go to Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. He didn't have any friendship with Chuan Xinluo. Moreover, Chuan Xinluo didn't personally deliver this invitation. Therefore, it didn't matter if he went or not. I'm going to the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall. You can wait for me here. Ning Cheng gave Chasing Bull a few words before leaving the artifact crafting store. Chasing Bull felt a little unhappy that Ning Cheng went out alone without it. But since its master told it to stay here, it didn't dare to bargain. In case its master felt unhappy and threw it into his storage ring, it would definitely become depressing. This time, Ning Cheng didn't change his appearance and entered the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall with his original appearance. As soon as he entered the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall, Ning Cheng deliberately revealed his powerful cultivation aura. The cultivator in charge of the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall immediately knew that a powerhouse had arrived and quickly came out to greet a heaven-seated cultivator. May I ask how my Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall can help this Tao friend? The heaven-seated cultivator spoke with a respectful tone towards Ning Cheng, but didn't address Ning Cheng as senior. Ning Cheng gave an "n" sound and asked with an enigmatic look, I heard that a few years ago, the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall auctioned off a piece of soil containing breath soil. Who bought this soil? The heaven-seated cultivator spoke with a more polite tone, everyone who comes to my Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall is a guest. My merchant hall does not disclose the information of our guests. Ning Cheng guessed that this was the result, but he still felt unwilling in his heart. He stood up and deliberately used his imposing aura to suppress the cultivator. The heaven-seated cultivator immediately felt suffocated by Ning Cheng's imposing aura, and his expression immediately changed. He had thought that Ning Cheng was at most in the life and death realm. Although a life and death realm cultivator was amazing, he couldn't do anything to the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall. But now, Ning Cheng's imposing aura clearly showed that he was an eternal level expert. If he encountered an unreasonable eternal level expert, even if the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall had nothing to fear, it would still be troublesome. Chapter 706. Master, this place is really beautiful. Chasing Bull looked at the leveled Heart Emperor Mountain in the distance and said. It's indeed beautiful. Ning Cheng also praised. This was also his first time coming to the leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. This place could only be described as a real fairyland. The green mountains and pavilions stretched out in all directions. The dense celestial essence even formed a mist that lingered around the mountains. Colorful clouds and all kinds of beautiful rare birds filled the air, making it hard to believe that this was still the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. In fact, the leveled Heart Emperor Mountain truly was located in the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. However, the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City was divided into 2 parts. One was the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City, and the other was the leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. The 2 places were clearly separated by restrictions. Normally, when the restrictions were closed, no one could approach the leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. In fact, even if the restrictions were opened, ordinary people would not be able to come in. The invitation that Striking Order Heavenly Emperor left for Ning Cheng was an opening array flag to enter the restrictions. According to the invitation, each invitation allowed 1 person to enter, which meant that Ning Cheng could bring Chasing Bull with him. Ning Cheng took the invitation and was about to enter the leveled Heart Emperor Mountain's restrictions when his spiritual consciousness saw Striking Order Heavenly Emperor and the middle-aged woman coming over. Therefore, he stopped. The invitation came from Striking Order Heavenly Emperor. Since Striking Order had visited him before, he naturally had to greet him. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor also saw Ning Cheng waiting and immediately quickened his pace. Before he even reached Ning Cheng, he laughed from afar, Dao friend Ning, I was worried that you were still in seclusion. I didn't expect to meet you here. It's truly a blessing. Greetings, Senior Ning. The middle-aged woman called Aunt Sue quickly came forward to greet him. Ning Cheng also cupped his fists and said, "Many thanks, Heavenly Emperor, for coming to my small place." Ning Cheng really didn't know where Heavenly Emperor lived. "Otherwise, I would have come to thank you. Dao friend Ning, you might as well call me Striking Order and call me Heavenly Emperor. You and I both come from Striking Order Starry Sky, so we're all on the same side. It's also my fault for not inviting Dao friend Ning to my immortal cave in Lucky Heaven City. This time, when I learned that Dao friend Ning came to Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City, I immediately went to visit you. Unfortunately, you were in seclusion when I arrived. Otherwise, I could have talked to you a few days earlier." Striking Order Heavenly Emperor spoke with an extremely polite smile. Ning Cheng's cultivation was vague to him, which meant that Aunt Sue wasn't talking nonsense. Ning Cheng most likely was an eternal level powerhouse. Speaking about the matter of Lucky Heaven City was naturally to probe Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng knew that Striking Order wanted to win him over and simply spoke up, "Since Brother Striking Order says so, then I won't be polite. Last time, this stupid bull of mine didn't neglect Brother Striking Order. At that time, I asked it why it didn't call me out." Ning Cheng naturally spoke out of politeness. If Chasing Bull really called him out of seclusion for such a thing, then it would truly be a stupid bull, and he would definitely teach it a lesson. As for Striking Order Heavenly Emperor's probing, he pretended not to hear it. "No, no, Brother Ning, please. This time, at the invitation of Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor, many powerhouses have come. I heard that Grand Spirit Heaven Starry Skies 9 Phoenix Palaces Jiufeng will also come." Striking Order Heavenly Emperor stretched out his hand and spoke with a warm tone. He wanted to ask about Ning Cheng's origins, but since Ning Cheng didn't want to talk about it, he couldn't continue asking. The few of them had just entered the Leveled Heart Emperor Mountains restrictions when a welcoming boy came over and led the Ning Cheng trio into the Leveled Heart Emperor Mountains guest hall. Many cultivators had already arrived at the guest hall. Ning Cheng glanced around and found that most of the people here were powerhouses in the life and death realm or above. However, most of them brought 1 or 2 followers with them. Moreover, these followers all had low cultivation. Presumably, they came out with their elders to see the world. Ning Cheng didn't see anyone like him, who directly brought a bull with him. As soon as Striking Order Heavenly Emperor came in, a familiar cultivator greeted him from a distance. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor apologized to Ning Cheng and took the initiative to greet the cultivators. As for Ning Cheng, everyone thought that he was a junior of Striking Order Heavenly Emperor and didn't care about him. If one had 2 invitations, it would be normal for him to bring 3 followers. Ning Cheng reached out and patted Chasing Bull's head, "You can go into the ring. No one brought a companion beast here. It would be a bit awkward if you came alone. Master, don't you see that person with a 1-horned thunder leopard? He's even riding on the thunder leopard." Chasing Bull really didn't want to stay inside the ring. Moreover, the spirit fruit banquet hadn't even started yet, and there were already all kinds of wines to drink. What was the point of going into the ring and spending time with those little bees? When Chasing Bull spoke, Ning Cheng also saw a white-haired eternal-level cultivator riding a 1-horned thunder leopard. Moreover, this white-haired cultivator was a late-stage eternal expert, much stronger compared to Ning Cheng. In that case, don't talk nonsense and just stay here. Ning Cheng still didn't feel reassured. "Hey, junior apprentice Brother Ning, why are you here?" A familiar voice came over, and Ning Cheng immediately saw Tang Yu rushing over. Ning Cheng didn't feel surprised that Tang Yu could come over. Her father, Tang Yitang, was an eternal-level expert in Striking Order Starry Sky, so it wasn't surprising for him to get an invitation. "I'm just basking in the limelight. It's been a long time since I last saw you. Your cultivation seems to have improved a lot," Ning Cheng said with a smile. Tang Yu's cultivation had indeed improved a lot, and she had already reached the undead realm. Presumably, it wouldn't take too long for her to advance to the Heaven's Mandate realm. Tang Yu's father was an eternal level expert, so Tang Yu naturally didn't have to worry about cultivation resources. Your cultivation should have also improved a lot. By the way, you haven't told me yet, how did you come here? Tang Yu felt puzzled about this question. Her father was an eternal level expert, so it made sense for him to bring her here. She knew that Ning Cheng was just a small cultivator without any backing. Therefore, it felt strange for him to come here. Junior apprentice Sister Yu, who is this? Another voice came over, interrupting Tang Yu's question. Tang Yu quickly replied, Senior apprentice brother Xiao Yu, this is junior apprentice brother Ning Cheng. He came from Striking Order Starland with me. We haven't seen each other for a long time, and I didn't expect to meet him at the leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. After that, Tang Yu introduced him to Ning Cheng, junior apprentice brother Ning, this is senior apprentice brother Xiao Yu from the Spiritual Heaven sect. No one can match his qualifications. Xiao Yu showed a smile and was about to say a few polite words when Ning Cheng suddenly recalled this Xiao Yu and immediately spoke up, I remember now, you are the first in the Celestial Scryer Tower. Ning Cheng's words stopped. Xiao Yu's ranking should have been refreshed by him by now, but he had never taken his ranking seriously. Therefore, he didn't care about it. Moreover, it felt a bit inappropriate to say that this fellow was the first. However, this fellow looked really handsome and definitely a handsome man. Moreover, this fellow's qualifications were also not bad. Ning Cheng had heard from Zish Jun that Xiao Yu had forcibly lowered his cultivation to the Celestial Gatherer realm to enter the Immortal Jade Star. Ning Cheng didn't expect that when he saw this fellow again, this fellow would already be at the late-stage Heaven's Mandate realm. Sure enough, Xiao Yu's face sank. He felt that Ning Cheng was deliberately ridiculing him, but Ning Cheng's tone did not seem to be the case. Tang Yu also felt that Ning Cheng's words were a bit inappropriate and quickly spoke up with a smile, senior apprentice brother Xiao Yu later advanced to the Celestial Bridge realm. Naturally, he would not leave his name on the Celestial Scryer Tower's array formation display. The current first in the Celestial Scryer Tower is a cultivator called Jiangzhou's Wanderer. Because he entered the 81st floor, his name has always been on it. Junior apprentice brother Ning, this bull of yours looks very well behaved. Tang Yu's last sentence was meant to change the topic, but it was a bit obvious. Hee, you didn't expect to meet me here, haha. A hee voice rang out, followed by a burst of laughter. A pale-faced cultivator appeared in front of Ning Cheng in a flash. Senior Guo. Tang Yu and Xiao Yu, on seeing this pale-faced cultivator, both bowed in unison. Ning Cheng sneered in his heart. He had planned to settle accounts with this pale-faced fellow, but this fellow actually took the initiative to come to him. When he was cultivating on that hidden planet, someone had discovered the mysterious yellow aura and wanted to snatch his mysterious yellow bead. That person was this pale-faced cultivator in front of him. At that time, as long as he was 1 or 2 breaths late, this fellow would have succeeded. For Ning Cheng, it was a narrow escape from death. Once this fellow succeeded, how could he still be alive at that time? Ning Cheng had thought that this fellow was something extraordinary, but now it seems that he only had the same cultivation as Striking Order Starry Sky Emperor. In fact, he was even a little weaker than Striking Order, at most at the middle stage of the Eternal Realm. Junior apprentice brother Ning, this is the Dock Master of the Endless Void Dock, Senior 3 Heavenly Emperor Guo. Hurry up and greet him. Seeing Ning Cheng not moving, Tang Yu felt anxious. The pale-faced man waved his hand, no need for greeting. Just tell me your name and who did you come with? He believed that as a Starry Sky Emperor, if he wanted to take this little cultivator back, no Starry Sky Emperor would come out to stop him. This time, he had to offend a Starry Sky Emperor, or even several Starry Sky Emperors, to take Ning Cheng away. No matter how high the price was, he was willing to pay. I came here with Striking Order Heavenly Emperor. What's wrong? Do you feel uncomfortable? Ning Cheng spoke with a calm voice. Tang Yu's heart sank, and she quickly stepped back. She took a few steps towards Tang Yitang and spoke up anxiously, "Dad, please help that junior apprentice brother Ning Cheng. He offended Heavenly Emperor 3 Heaven." "What?" Tang Yitang, who was talking to another eternal starry sky emperor, suddenly had a change in expression. He quickly pulled Tang Yu behind him. "Tang Yu, I told you, these are not ordinary people. You're not allowed to run around." As for Tang Yu's words about saving Ning Cheng, he directly ignored it. He didn't care about junior apprentice brother Ning Cheng. Offending Heavenly Emperor 3 Heaven Heavenly Emperor was equivalent to courting death. He wasn't stupid enough to go against Heavenly Emperor 3 Heaven Heavenly Emperor. Even if he tried to ask for a favor, he wouldn't do it. Not to mention him, even Striking Order Heavenly Emperor did not dare to offend Heavenly Emperor 3 Heaven Heavenly Emperor. Who didn't know that the Endless Void Doc's Doc Master, Heavenly Emperor 3 Heaven Heavenly Emperor, was a ruthless person? Because the Endless Void Dock was located in Culmination Starland, Heavenly Emperor 3 Heaven Heavenly Emperor had a good relationship with many eternal starry sky emperors. As eternal cultivators who came from afar to the starry sky, if they came here looking for trouble, it would only bring them trouble. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor noticed the situation and took the initiative to come over. Chapter 707. Without waiting for Striking Order Heavenly Emperor to speak, Gua Sangon cupped his fists and spoke, "Brother Striking Order, the disciple you brought today offended me and stole some of my things from the Endless Void Docks. I will not let today's matter go like this. I will definitely bring him back to the Endless Void Dock to be identified. If I have offended you, I am willing to pay you a visit and apologize." When Gua Sangon said this, the surrounding people were stunned. These words clearly hinted at Striking Order not to plead for leniency. Even if Striking Order did plead for leniency, Gua Sangon would not let it go. From the looks of it, this disciple brought by Striking Order Heavenly Emperor really did something big and angered the ruthless Gua Sangon. Everyone looked at Striking Order. Those who could be brought here by Striking Order were naturally people close to him. Now that Gua Sangon wanted to take away Striking Order Heavenly Emperor's disciple, whether Striking Order Heavenly Emperor would allow it or not, it would depend on whether the relationship between Striking Order and this disciple reached a certain degree. If Striking Order Heavenly Emperor did not allow Gua Sangon to take it away, then with Gua Sangon's words, a fight would definitely break out. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor frowned. He wanted to make friends with Ning Cheng, but before he could make friends with Ning Cheng, he had to provoke Gua Sangon. No matter how he looked at it, this was something he didn't want. He knew too well what kind of person Gua Sangon was. An extremely ruthless fellow. His actions were incomparably bloody. Just a single Gua Sangon made Striking Order unable to look down on him. What's more, the strength of the Endless Void Docks ranked at the top of Culmination Starland. Even Chuan Xinlo did not dare to underestimate it. However, Striking Order Heavenly Emperor didn't want to say that he didn't care about it. If that was the case, he would have already offended Ning Cheng. If he tried to make friends with Ning Cheng, it would be like looking at flowers through a fog. Just as he was pacing back and forth, another 3 people walked in. Heavenly Emperor Leveled Heart personally accompanied 2 people, a man and a woman. Everyone looked so lively. "I went to pick up 9 Phoenix Heavenly Emperor and Dao Friend Song, so I came a little late." Chuan Xinlo came over with a smile, which eased the tense atmosphere a lot. For Chuan Xinlo to personally greet him, it naturally meant that he was not someone to be underestimated. Therefore, everyone came up together to greet him. Chuan Xinlo was the master of Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain, while 9 Phoenix Heavenly Emperor was the premier person of Grand Spirit Heaven's starry sky. But as for the cultivator addressed as Dao Friend Song, Ning Cheng had never heard of him, but he had seen this person before. "Brother Leveled Heart, I'm really sorry about today. It's because I met a minor cultivator who stole something from my endless void docks, and I wanted to take him away. This little cultivator was brought here by Brother Striking Order. Even if I go to Striking Order Starland afterwards to apologize, I will still take this little cultivator to the endless void docks to identify him. Gua Sangan's words laid the foundation for what he wanted to do. He believed that with his friendship with Chuan Xinlo and the strength of the endless void docks, Chuan Xinlo would not obstruct him. Not to mention him, even the cultivators around him, including Striking Order Heavenly Emperor, felt the same way. Sure enough, Chuan Xinlo spoke up with a straight face, as a starry sky cultivator, character is the most important thing. I believe that Brother Striking Order will understand. Furthermore, I believe that Brother Guo wouldn't hurt a junior over such a small matter. Chuan Xinlo's words did not offend Striking Order Heavenly Emperor, nor did he offend Sangan. He spoke for both sides. However, one thing was certain, that Ning Cheng would definitely be taken away. He didn't even ask who Gua Sangan was talking about. Gua Sangan felt happy in his heart. He only needed to take away Ning Cheng. In the end, whether to kill Ning Cheng or not, it all depended on him. Ning Cheng didn't care about Gua Sangan and Chuan Xinlo's words at all. Instead, his gaze fell on Yi Jiufeng. Yi Jiufeng had the aura of the Wind Thunder Apricot on her. Moreover, he had obtained 2 Wind Thunder Apricots, which made him very sensitive to this aura. If the Wind Thunder Apricot was on Yi Jiufeng, could he trade with this woman? The cultivator surnamed Song, who stood next to Yi Jiufeng and Chuan Xinlo, saw Ning Cheng's gaze sweep over and immediately lowered his head. He even wanted to take a few steps back. Ning Cheng, however, showed a smile and spoke up, "Friend, I haven't seen you for a few days, yet you don't recognize me?" The cultivator surnamed Song's face suddenly turned a little pale. He knew that this person had already recognized him when he watched this young powerhouse's thunder tribulation. At that time, this person had chased after him for a while, but just when he was about to catch up, he suddenly stopped and let him go. Now, the person he feared the most was this terrifying fellow, but he never expected to see him again. When he thought of Ning Cheng's terrifying and crazy tribulation, he immediately felt a burst of fear in his heart. That kind of thunder tribulation, even from thousands of miles away, he could feel a burst of crazy killing intent. He felt sure that if he tried to surmount this tribulation, he would die before he could even get past the first wave. He naturally didn't know that Ning Cheng's thoughts were on Yi Jiufeng and thought that Ning Cheng wanted to vent his anger on him. With Ning Cheng's power and influence, once he became dissatisfied with him, he wouldn't be able to bear the consequences. One had to know that peeking at others' tribulations was a taboo. Junior Tsang Tsaiha greets Senior. This junior unintentionally. Tsang Tsaiha no longer dared to step back. He quickly took a step forward and spoke with a bow. "Senior." The moment Tsang Tsaiha called out "Senior Ning Cheng," the entire hall turned silent. Who was Tsang Tsaiha? A late-stage eternal powerhouse. If he were just a late-stage eternal cultivator, it wouldn't be worth Chuan Xinlo greeting him personally. More importantly, Tsang Tsaiha was one of the 3 rogue cultivator heavenly emperors in this part of the universe. He was the most powerful Starry Sky Pill Emperor, a powerhouse who could refine grade 9 Starry Sky medicinal pills. One could say that Tsang Tsaiha's cultivation in the Tao of Alchemy was unmatched. In any place, as long as Tsang Tsaiha stood up and greeted him, people would immediately respond. Such a powerhouse actually addressed Ning Cheng as Senior. Chuan Xinlo froze. He finally felt that Ning Cheng looked familiar. Gua Sangan froze. Yi Jiufeng, Tang Yitang, and everyone else also froze. Tsang Tsaiha's joke wasn't funny at all. Even Striking Order Heavenly Emperor froze. He knew that Ning Cheng was strong, but not strong enough for Tsang Tsaiha to call him Senior. What the hell was going on? Seeing Chuan Xinlo about to speak, Ning Cheng showed a smile, leveled heart Heavenly Emperor, when I helped Bai Chi Artifact Crafting Store participate in the artifact crafting competition, you gave me a store. Sure enough, it's you. Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor took in a deep breath. He recognized Ning Cheng. When Gua Sangan heard Song Saiha call Ning Cheng Sr., he found that things were completely out of his control. Song Saiha wasn't someone he could easily bully. It was already a good thing that this person didn't bully him. Yet, such a person called Ning Cheng Sr. and wanted to take Ning Cheng away. What the hell was going on? Ning Cheng saw that Song Saiha still wanted to speak, so he waved his hand and said, "Dao friend Song, I just wanted to say hello to you. I don't mean to blame you." After saying that, Ning Cheng nodded to Yi Jiufeng. He was ready to look for Yi Jiufeng to carry out the transaction. It was necessary for him to familiarize himself with the other party. Although Ning Cheng wanted to fight with Gua Sangan, he knew that this was not the place for a fight. Moreover, if Gua Sangan didn't take the initiative, he couldn't take the initiative. He cupped his fists and said, "Everyone, I'm Ning Cheng from Striking Order Starry Sky. Endless Void Docks Gua Sangan came looking for trouble with me just now. I believe that all the heavenly emperors present here have seen it clearly. To be honest, I don't blame Gua Sangan. Even if he didn't come looking for trouble with me, I wouldn't have come looking for trouble with him. Endless Void Dock. Hee, is it famous? I haven't been there before, but I want to go and see it now." Gua Sangan's expressions turned a little ugly. He still didn't know Ning Cheng's details. Before, he didn't put Ning Cheng in his eyes. But after Song Saiha addressed Ning Cheng as senior, he found that his spiritual consciousness couldn't see through Ning Cheng's cultivation at all. Ning Cheng didn't intend to hide this matter at all. Instead, he spoke up in a clear voice, "The grudge between me and Gua Sangan was because this kid wanted a piece of my stone. I obtained a mysterious yellow origin stone." As soon as Ning Cheng's words came out, the entire hall sucked in a breath of cold air. Mysterious yellow origin stone, just how precious was it? The words mysterious yellow origin stone were enough to move any heavenly emperor's heart. It was a treasure that originated from heaven and earth. If the conflict between Gua Sangan and Ning Cheng was caused by the mysterious yellow origin stone, then it would be understandable. When I used the mysterious yellow origin to comprehend a lore-related spirit technique, this fellow sneak attacked me. At that time, I was in a weakened state, and this bastard almost succeeded in his sneak attack. Everyone, if I don't go to the Endless Void Docks to repay this favor, then how would I be able to live up to the Sangan's kind invitation? As Ning Cheng spoke, his tone turned even more awe-inspiring, with a hint of killing intent. Gua Sangan couldn't help but shudder. He even started to suspect that Ning Cheng really did obtain a mysterious yellow origin stone. Song Saiha looked at Gua Sangan with a sympathetic expression. His eyes even regarded Gua Sangan as a dead man. Gua Sangan was just about to lose his temper, but when he saw Song Saiha's sympathetic eyes, he didn't have the courage to act up. Did he almost capture Ning Cheng because Ning Cheng was in a weakened state, and not because his cultivation was weak? Tang Yitang, who didn't want to intervene, also froze at this moment. He could only whisper to Tang Yu, "Little Yu, who is he? Is he really the junior apprentice brother Ning you mentioned?" Tang Yu acted as if she hadn't heard Tang Yitang's question and still looked at Ning Cheng in shock. Ning Cheng clearly had a celestial novice cultivation, so how come only a few years had passed? How did he become Heavenly Emperor Saiha Sr.? Ha! Striking Order Heavenly Emperor felt very comfortable and laughed, breaking the temporary silence and embarrassment. With a happy voice, he spoke to Ning Cheng, "Brother Ning, Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor, after this Spirit Fruit Invitation Convention, I plan to return to Striking Order Starland. If Brother Ning has time in the future, you must come to Lucky Heaven City as a guest." Ning Cheng smiled, "Naturally, I'm waiting for my martial nephew here. When he comes back, I will first go to the 9-plate Starland's everlasting sacred shrine. After that, I will definitely go to Lucky Heaven City to visit Brother Striking Order. Is Dao friend Ning also familiar with junior apprentice sister Seeking Hui? That's just right. Last time, when junior apprentice sister Seeking Hui advanced to the Starry Sky Emperor realm, I couldn't go because of some matters. Dao friend Ning, please help me convey my apologies. Chuan Xinluo's expression changed very quickly. He could only vaguely see that Ning Cheng's imposing aura was no worse than his own. Coupled with Zhang Caihe and Striking Order's respect for Ning Cheng, how could he not understand Ning Cheng's extraordinary strength? Chapter 708. I went to the Everlasting Sacred Shrine's new Sacred Lady ceremony a few years ago at the invitation of Dao Friend Seeking Wisdom. Dao Friend Seeking Wisdom's Dao laws are getting more and more exquisite. Another dark-faced Eternal Starry Sky Emperor spoke up with a smile. This dark-faced Eternal Starry Sky Emperor apparently took the initiative to talk to Ning Cheng. Regardless of Ning Cheng's strength, Zhang Caihe's respect for him, coupled with Striking Order's politeness and Chuan Xinluo's initiative to talk to him, it was worth getting to know Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng frowned and asked in doubt, Everlasting Sacred Shrine's new Sacred Lady? He felt relieved that Luofei and Qianghua were in Everlasting Sacred Shrine. After all, Everlasting Sacred Shrine had the Everlasting Sacred Tree, and it would be better for Qianghua to stay under the Everlasting Sacred Tree. Even if he came back this time, he couldn't take Qianghua away, because he couldn't find the Purple Yin Spirit Spring. Another factor that made Ning Cheng feel relieved was not seeking wisdom, but Everlasting Sacred Shrine seeking caution. Ning Cheng was confident that he had not misjudged her. Seeking caution would never break her promise to keep Luofei and Qianghua safe. Moreover, seeking caution had personally promised to let Qianghua recover under the Everlasting Sacred Tree, which was a tacit agreement between the two. Logically speaking, Qianghua should still be Everlasting Sacred Emperor's Sacred Lady, so why did she become a new Sacred Lady? Bright heaven starry skies Wu Hong greets Dao friend Ning. The dark-faced cultivator cupped his fists towards Ning Cheng, Everlasting Sacred Shrine's original Sacred Lady has fallen, so they had to appoint a new Sacred Lady. Wu Hong interjected with the purpose of getting to know Ning Cheng, so he naturally would not miss the opportunity to introduce himself. Ning Cheng's face turned pale in an instant, and a sharp aura rushed out from him. Even the few eternal-level experts standing near him felt an oppressive chill. The surrounding cultivators completely believed Zhang Caihe's words this time. Ning Cheng's cultivation was definitely powerful, and maybe he really was a senior. Brother Wu, did you just say that Everlasting Sacred Shrine's original Sacred Lady has fallen? Ning Cheng's words trembled in disbelief. Wu Hong was slightly startled, but he immediately understood that Ning Cheng had a relationship with the original Sacred Lady. He quickly replied, that's right. I heard that the Sacred Lady named Qianghua had fallen, so a new Sacred Lady was appointed. He had only heard about it from others. As an eternal powerhouse, he naturally wouldn't ask about the life and death of a Sacred Lady. Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor, Ning Cheng will visit again next time. While speaking, Ning Cheng grabbed Chasing Bull and disappeared from the hall in a flash. Humph, a rude person, so arrogant, I want to see. Gua Sangan on seeing Ning Cheng walk away gave a cold snort and began to draw hatred for Ning Cheng. However, before he could finish his sentence, an incomparably huge golden seal descended. There seemed to be a ferocious bird on top of the seal. This bird stood on top of the seal, adding a majestic and ferocious aura to the golden seal. The violent aura swept over the entire hall and blasted toward Gua Sangan. In the face of this violent and oppressive aura, the surrounding cultivators all retreated. Gua Sangan quickly shut his mouth and hastily took out his golden dipper of flames. Two beams of golden light exploded together. Ning Cheng, who had been accumulating power for a long time, blasted Gua Sangan away and sent him crashing into two eternal cultivators. If not for the two eternal cultivators stopping him, he would have directly smashed into the wall of the hall. Even his golden dipper of flames flew to the side, and the golden light shrouding it turned dim. After the golden seal with the bird blasted Gua Sangon away, it did not follow up with another attack. Instead, it disappeared from the hull. At this time, Ning Cheng's voice arrived, "Gua Sangon, remember to keep your head safe. I will visit the endless void docks." Gua Sangon's white face turned red, but he could no longer speak a single word with any imposing aura. One move, just one move, yet Ning Cheng had blasted Gua Sangon away. The entire hull fell silent once again. Although Ning Cheng had hidden his weapon in the hull, and Gua Sangon had only blasted him away in a hurry, everyone could see that Ning Cheng was stronger than Gua Sangon. As for whether it was slightly stronger or a lot stronger, that was because the two of them had only exchanged one move. No one was able to tell. But Ning Cheng had hidden his weapon in the hull, and no one could see through it, which meant that Ning Cheng was quite amazing. Anyone who could appear in this hall, apart from the juniors, was definitely not a weakling. He seems to have used an imperial jade seal with the power of hope. After a long time, an eternal starry sky emperor spoke up. This eternal starry sky emperor's words caused another round of silence. Using a weapon powered by the power of hope to directly blast Gua Sangon away, how much power of Joss flames would it take? How could ordinary cultivators obtain Joss flames? Ning Cheng truly felt anxious this time. He felt that Qianghua would be safe in Everlasting Sacred Shrine, which was why he left with peace of mind. Plus, Everlasting Sacred Shrine had the Everlasting Sacred Tree. Even if he went to Everlasting Sacred Shrine, he wouldn't be able to take away Qianghua. Never did he expect that even though he thought he was 100% safe, he would receive news of Qianghua's death in Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. This news was like a bolt from the blue, which made him wish he could fly to Everlasting Sacred Shrine. Everlasting Sacred Shrine didn't only have Qianghua, Luofei was also there. If something happened to Qianghua, what would happen to Luofei? Ning Cheng gave Chasing Bull control of the Starry Sky Wheel, and even gave some permanent essence pills to Chasing Bull. The purpose was to let Chasing Bull burn the permanent essence pills to speed up the Starry Sky Wheel. As for himself, he continued to refine the Imperial Jade Seal. This Imperial Jade Seal contained the power of hope and had helped him several times. If Qianghua's death really had something to do with Everlasting Sacred Shrine, he would definitely fight with Everlasting Sacred Shrine. Moreover, the Imperial Jade Seal would help him a lot. A month later, when Ning Cheng refined the Imperial Jade Seal to the 76th layer of restrictions, Chasing Bull told him that they had arrived at 9-Plate Starland. Everlasting Sacred Shrine wasn't a small sect in 9-Jewel Starry Sky, nor was it a top-grade sect. However, since Everlasting Sacred Shrine's Sacred Master seeking intelligence advanced to the Eternal Realm, Everlasting Sacred Shrine's status had risen along with the tide and was now close to becoming a top-grade sect. A place with an Eternal Realm cultivator, even a Starry Sky Emperor would want to rope it in. What's more, Everlasting Sacred Shrine's Sacred Master seeking intelligence had a close relationship with Grand Culmination Starry Sky's Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor, which further elevated Everlasting Sacred Shrine status. This broken place is far worse than Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. Chasing Bull looked at Everlasting Sacred Shrine's entrance and spoke with disdain. In fact, Everlasting Sacred Shrine wasn't a broken place. On the contrary, it was one of the 10 places with the densest celestial essence aura in the entire 9-Plate Starland. Several suspended celestial rivers stretched across the mountains, adding to the endless fairyland atmosphere to Everlasting Sacred Shrine. Wait for me here. Ning Cheng gave a few instructions to Chasing Bull before flying towards Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array. He had asked Chasing Bull to wait for him outside Everlasting Sacred Shrine just in case. After all, he hadn't reached the Eternal Realm yet. Therefore, if he got besieged by Eternal Realm cultivators in this place, he would have to find a way out. Stop, this is Everlasting Sacred Shrine's headquarters. You are not allowed to go any further. Ning Cheng had just arrived in front of Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting grand array when a female cultivator from Everlasting Sacred Shrine stopped him. Ning Cheng suppressed the anxiety in his heart and spoke with a deep voice, "I'm looking for Ji Luofei." In any case, he had to see Ji Luofei first. Ning Cheng didn't know if Qionghua's death had anything to do with Everlasting Sacred Shrine. Humph, a shameless person who had an affair with a man. Sacred Master had already sentenced her to death. How dare you ask about such a dirty name in our sacred shrine? Get out of here, otherwise. The female cultivator hadn't finished her words when a big foot kicked her in the chest. The next moment, she flew up and spat out a few mouthfuls of blood in the air. Ning Cheng kicked the cultivator in anger before bringing out a Dao artifact long spear and slamming it into the Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array formation. If Ji Luofei and Shi Qianghua were truly killed by seeking intelligence, as this female cultivator said, then he would wash the Everlasting Sacred Shrine with blood today. Boom! With just a single spear strike, the Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array trembled. Ning Cheng himself was an array emperor who could arrange grade 7 starry sky array formations. Therefore, attacking a grade 8 starry sky mountain protecting Grand Array with full force like this would definitely result in amazing power. With the second spear strike, the entire mountain protecting Grand Array trembled even more. "Stop, how dare you attack my Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array?" A crisp voice came from behind Ning Cheng, followed by a sword light shooting towards Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng ignored the sword light and punched out with a backhand. The long spear in his hand continuously slammed into the mountain protecting Grand Array. Under Ning Cheng's continuous attacks, the mountain protecting Grand Array finally gave out a "kacha" sound. Before the sword light could reach Ning Cheng's celestial river domain dissolved it. As for the female cultivator who attacked Ning Cheng, under Ning Cheng's punch, even the sound behind her disappeared. "Stop!" Another angry roar erupted, and the mountain protecting Grand Array gave out a series of roars. It looked like it wanted to take the initiative to open the Grand Array. Ning Cheng did not stop the long spear in his hand. Instead, he gathered his celestial essence and shot out several spear strikes at the mountain protecting Grand Array's array foundation. Kacha! Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array was just about to open when Ning Cheng's spear strike shattered it. Seeking Intelligence stood in front of Ning Cheng in anger. Behind Seeking Intelligence, a few cultivators flew over one after another. In just a short time, hundreds of cultivators stood in front of Ning Cheng. "Sacred Master, I didn't stop him." An incomparably weak voice came from a distance, and a heaven-seated cultivator beside me Hui, with the fastest speed, carried the female cultivator with bloodstains on her chest and mouth. "Sacred Lady Chang is seriously injured." The heaven-seated cultivator spoke up anxiously. In her hand was a beautiful young female cultivator. It was this female cultivator who had sneak attacked Ning Cheng and asked Ning Cheng to stop. However, Ning Cheng ended up injuring her with a backhand punch. "It's you." Seeking Intelligence stared at Ning Cheng coldly. She knew Ning Cheng. It was this little ant who said that he liked Qianghua in front of her. Today, this little ant dared to break the Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array while she was in seclusion. Wait, breaking the Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array. Seeking Intelligence's heart suddenly tightened. Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array was something she couldn't break in a hurry. Didn't that mean that the other party's cultivation wasn't any weaker than hers? How could that little cultivator grow to the eternal realm so quickly? How was that possible? Chapter 709. Where are my wife, Qianghua, and Luofei? Ning Cheng's killing intent merged with his domain and slowly spread out. The cultivators with lower cultivation simply couldn't bear it and quickly retreated. How could Mi Hui care about the life and death of an ant like Ji Luofei? Now that Ning Cheng asked about it, she just gave a cold snort. What qualifications does an unclean woman have to live in the Holy Land? Having said that, how could Ning Cheng bear it? With his killing intent erupting, the long spear in his hand shot out a black hole. At the same time, he ridiculed, "Your parents must have committed a sin to give birth to a thing like you. I guess you've already forgotten that you also have parents." The black hole wasn't because Ning Cheng broke through space, but because the killing intent in Ning Cheng's spear was too powerful. However, it was invisible and completely ignored the surrounding space. Under this powerful killing intent, it gave people the illusion that a black hole had formed in space. The surrounding space shrank under Ning Cheng's spear. It felt as if Ning Cheng's spear would kill and shatter everyone in its path. The cultivators of the everlasting sacred shrine with lower cultivation instinctively retreated. The thought that if they were slow, the spear intent in the hole would harvest their life essence filled everyone's mind. Mi Hui, who bore the brunt of the attack, felt even more shocked. Facing such a powerful spear intent, Ning Cheng's words, which made her go crazy, had long since been thrown aside. She wasn't a person who hadn't seen the world. When Ning Cheng's spear shot out, she felt as if she could see a planet shattering in front of it. And she was just an insignificant scene on this planet. If she continued to wait, she would turn into powder along with this planet. Having cultivated to the eternal realm, Mi Hui naturally understood that Ning Cheng's spear was a form of mental oppression. But knowing it was one thing, she could only bring out her everlasting sacred sword to deal with it. Ning Cheng's traceless spear intent left no traces at all. Even if Mi Hui was an eternal-level expert, she couldn't find the real killing intent of Ning Cheng's spear intent in a hurry. This was traceless. Mi Hui didn't look for Ning Cheng's spear intent at all. Her everlasting sacred sword didn't bring out a sword light, but a sky full of icy white, like snowflakes covering the entire space. Ning Cheng's traceless spear intent's murderous aura instantly condensed into a single point. The incomparably majestic sword light snowflakes wrapped around Ning Cheng's spear intent, causing it to erupt with a bone-chilling explosion. Ning Cheng gave a muffled groan. He knew that eternal-level cultivators were strong, but seeking wisdom was only at the early stage of the eternal realm, yet she had already reached this level. He was actually able to unleash his sword domain and forcefully blast away his traceless mystic art, leaving a mark on his traceless mystic art. Boom! Spear intent and sword domain collided, and Ning Cheng's powerful celestial essence aura blasted seeking intelligence away. At the same time, Ning Cheng also flew back a few dozen meters. Ding dang! Ning Cheng stood in the same place as he watched the high-grade Dao artifact long spear in his hand break apart and fall to the ground. A high-grade Dao artifact long spear, unexpectedly split apart by the other party's sword, caused Ning Cheng to frown. The sword in Seeking Intelligence's hand was definitely not an ordinary object. Ning Cheng simply threw the long spear in his hand to the ground, raised his hand and brought out the Nirvana spear before taking another step forward. Before the spear even moved, it had already stirred up an overwhelming killing intent. Seeking Intelligence felt even more shocked in her heart, as Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness turned out to be even stronger than hers. Otherwise, her sword domain would have forced Ning Cheng to stay behind. In fact, Ning Cheng had sent her flying even further away. If it weren't for the everlasting sacred sword in her hand being the second treasure of the everlasting sacred shrine, she would have already suffered severe injuries, not to mention breaking apart Ning Cheng's weapon. Seeing Ning Cheng bring out a new weapon, Seeking Intelligence took in a deep breath and gave a cold snort, falling snow ice seal. Ning Cheng turned out to be more powerful than she had imagined. The everlasting sacred sword in Seeking Intelligence's hand suddenly turned into nothingness, and then snowflakes started to fall. Everything in the world turned into snowflakes at this moment. Even Seeking Intelligence, like the world around her, turned into snowflakes falling from the sky. A powerful binding force and oppression descended, causing Ning Cheng to feel his body turning ice cold. Then, cracks started to appear on his skin. It felt as if his body would split apart in the next moment and turn into the same ice-cold snowflakes around him. This was a spirit technique. Ning Qing immediately understood. In just a blink of an eye, the endless snowflakes condensed and formed icebergs. The icebergs grew bigger and bigger, just like a sky full of meteorites falling from the sky towards Ning Qing. As the snowflakes and icebergs squeezed the space around them, Ning Cheng's survival grew smaller and smaller. The ice and snow carried a soul-piercing whimper, while the icebergs carried a death-like oppression. All of this was aimed at Ning Qing alone. Perhaps only death could make this kind of oppression dissipate. Only death could free him from it. The sky turned misty, and the disciples around the everlasting sacred shrine could only see a white world at this moment. They could only feel an ice-cold aura. It was whimpering and roaring. The beautiful snowflakes and the ice and snow raged in this world, filling it with an aura of death. No one's spiritual consciousness could penetrate into this world of ice and snow, let alone touch this world of ice and snow. It seemed that as long as one got close to this world, they would turn into nothingness and get killed by the ice and snow. This is my everlasting sacred shrine's ultimate spirit technique, falling snow ice seal. What a powerful spirit technique, everlasting sacred shrines heaven and earth forever. Sacred Master, heaven and earth forever. Kill this ant who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Kill. With the appearance of this ice and snow spirit technique, the entire world seemed to have fallen under the control of this ice and snow spirit technique. At this moment, no one thought that Ning Qing was still alive. How could he survive under such a spirit technique? What a joke! All the disciples of the everlasting sacred shrine had only one feeling at this moment, pride. Pride for the everlasting sacred shrine, pride for having such a powerful sacred master. The everlasting sacred shrine had such a powerful spirit technique and a powerful sacred master. Yet, someone dared to provoke the sacred shrine. It was no different from courting death. Ning Qing didn't come to the everlasting sacred shrine to seek death. He came to take away Luofei and Qianghua. He came to tell the everlasting sacred shrine who Luofei and Qianghua were to him. Although the whimpering of the ice and snow was extremely oppressive, it could only leave a few marks on Ning Cheng's skin, and could only cause a few more tears on Ning Cheng's clothes. Even if Ning Cheng stood still and did not resist, the falling snow ice seal spirit technique would not be enough to tear apart Ning Cheng's starry sky body. Ning Cheng allowed the iceberg to press down on him, allowing the whimpering ice and snow to tear him apart. He just took another step forward, as the spear in his hands moved from the back to the front, drawing a semicircle with him as the center, before pointing it towards seeking intelligence. At this moment, the ice and snow between heaven and earth came to a standstill. At this moment, the oppressive iceberg condensed, and everything around the ice and snow world froze. A dustpan-sized setting sun appeared between the ice and snow. This setting sun brought with it the sadness of dusk and the sadness of impending desolation. As long as everyone looked at this setting sun, they would think that one day, they would be like this setting sun, gradually sinking, gradually turning into bones, and gradually being forgotten by others. This was despair, this was the despair of stillness, this was the despair of life coming to a standstill. The setting sun was infinitely beautiful, but it was approaching dusk. Spirit technique, sunset's twilight. Will I one day end up like this dusk, gradually declining? Seeking intelligence completely forgot about her falling snow ice seal spirit technique and muttered to herself as she stared at the gradually sinking sunset in front of her. No, I will never fall like this dusk. I am an eternal level powerhouse, I will be eternal, I will coexist with heaven and earth, I will let everlasting sacred shrine coexist with heaven and earth, shining in the starry sky. No, this is not sunset's twilight, this is a spirit technique, and this spirit technique is suppressing my spirit technique. Why do I feel stillness around me? Is this a laws of time-related spirit technique? When seeking intelligence woke up, her soul almost flew away. She had heard of laws of time-related spirit techniques many times, but this was the first time she saw one. No, I can't die. Seeing the long spear approaching her glabella, Seeking Intelligence screamed madly from the bottom of her heart. She succeeded. She broke free from Ning Cheng's sunset's twilight. However, her success came a little too late. Ning Cheng's long spear had already pierced through her glabella. Old witch, today, I, Ning Cheng, will wash everlasting sacred shrine with blood. When Seeking Intelligence heard this sentence, she completely forgot that she was about to die under Ning Cheng's spirit technique. She completely forgot about her glory. Instead, she knelt on the ground and cried out, "Please don't destroy everlasting sacred shrine." Some remorse welled up in her heart. She remembered Seeking Jin's vague words. That Ning Cheng didn't seem simple, so she shouldn't go too far. However, she had already gone to the extreme. Poof! The long spear pierced through Seeking Intelligence's glabella, bringing with it a rain of blood. Seeking Intelligence died with her eyes wide open. She still looked at Ning Cheng and murmured, "Please don't destroy everlasting sacred shrine. Everlasting sacred shrine must pass on." Ning Cheng clenched the long spear and spoke with a cold voice, "What qualifications do you have to talk about inheritance? You scum who even forgot your parents, yet you dare talk about inheritance with me. Can you be any more shameless?" After saying that, Ning Cheng twisted the Nirvana spear in his hand, and Seeking Intelligence's broken life essence directly shattered under Ning Cheng's long spear. Perhaps Ning Cheng's words had reminded her, but at the moment of her death, Seeking Intelligence suddenly thought of her parents. When she cultivated an everlasting sacred shrine, she had already forgotten who her parents were. Was she really not qualified to talk about inheritance? Her consciousness finally blurred. The everlasting sacred shrine's disciples, immersed in the beautiful dusk, sobered up at this moment and immediately saw Sacred Master Seeking Intelligence fall to the ground and die. Sacred Master! The seriously injured new sacred lady screamed and rushed up. Ning Cheng clenched the Nirvana spear and did not move. Using Sunset's twilight against Seeking Intelligence, he had to pay a price. The stronger the opponent's cultivation, the greater the strength required to bring out Sunset's twilight. Fortunately, he was also a body-forging cultivator, a powerful body-forging cultivator at that. Otherwise, under Seeking Intelligence's ice and snow spirit technique, his Sunset's twilight might not have been able to suppress her. Looking at the panic-stricken everlasting sacred shrine's disciples, Ning Cheng's eyes turned red, and his killing intent gradually rose. The moment he learned that Seeking Intelligence killed Luofei, the killing intent in his heart grew stronger and stronger. Chapter 710. Ning Cheng's powerful killing intent swept out, and before the everlasting sacred shrine's sacred lady could get close to the sacred master, Ning Cheng's imposing aura once again sent her flying. At this moment, none of the hundreds of everlasting sacred shrine's disciples dared to move. They all looked like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. "Stop!" An anxious voice rushed over. Ning Cheng's consciousness that was filled with killing intent was interrupted by this voice, causing his heart to suddenly feel at a loss. Killing these disciples who could not resist was not his intention at all. He didn't want to kill anyone. He just wanted Luofei and Qianghua to return. However, Luofei was killed here. How could he not seek justice for Luofei? "Dao friend Ning, Luofei didn't die. You can't do it again in my everlasting sacred shrine." Mi Jin, dressed in a grey Daoist robe, landed in front of Ning Cheng. After finishing the sentence as fast as she could, her eyes filled with anxiety. After learning about Ning Cheng's power, she guessed that Sacred Master's actions would bring disaster to the everlasting sacred shrine. For this, she cultivated in seclusion like crazy. What she didn't expect was that this disaster would come so quickly. She had just advanced to the life and death realm, yet Ning Cheng had already killed Everlasting Sacred Shrine's sacred master. No matter how crazily she cultivated, it was useless. Not to mention that she was only in the life and death realm. Even if she advanced to the eternal realm like Sacred Master, she still wouldn't be able to stop Ning Cheng. With Ning Cheng killing the Everlasting Sacred Shrine's Sacred Master, even the Starry Sky Emperor of 9 Jewels Starry Sky wouldn't dare to come forward. The only one who could help Everlasting Sacred Shrine was Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain's Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor. But now that Ning Cheng was in the Everlasting Sacred Shrine, where was Heavenly Emperor Leveled Heart? Taking a step back, even if Heavenly Emperor Leveled Heart helped the Everlasting Sacred Shrine, by the time he arrived, the Everlasting Sacred Shrine would have already turned to dust. Did you say that Luofei is still here? Ning Cheng rushed in front of Mi Jin and even raised his hand to grab Mi Jin's shoulder. Seeking caution held back her panic and spoke, yes, Sacred Master wants to kill Qianghua and Luofei. I let Yi send them away. Jing Yi will be here soon, you just have to wait for a while before you can ask her. Ning Cheng slowly sighed, as the redness in his eyes gradually faded. Qianghua? How is Qianghua? Mi Jin's eyes flashed with a hint of guilt as she spoke, I'm sorry, I didn't fulfill my promise. Sacred Master did not allow Sacred Lady Qianghua to cultivate under the Everlasting Sacred Tree, so I could only let Luofei take Qianghua and secretly leave the Everlasting Sacred Shrine. Ning Cheng looked up as tears fell silently. After a long time, he let out a long, tearing howl. Qianghua had cast a forbidden technique, which prevented her from healing and cultivating under the Everlasting Sacred Shrine's Everlasting Sacred Tree. Most likely, she had already died. Qianghua was the last reincarnation. Since she fell this time, it meant that Qianghua no longer existed. Why was Qianghua's fate so full of misfortune? I'm sorry, fellow Taoist Ning. I've already done my best. This matter has nothing to do with my Everlasting Sacred Shrine, so please don't vent your anger on my Everlasting Sacred Shrine. Mi Jin spoke with a trembling voice. Even if Everlasting Sacred Shrine seeking Hui fell, it was still a major faction within the 9-plate Starland. But in front of Ning Cheng, it was just a piece of cake. Big Brother Ning, what Uncle Master Jin said is the truth. I was the one who brought Luofei and Qianghua out of the sacred ground. They are both fine. Jing Yi hurriedly ran over and bowed to Ning Cheng. At this moment, she already had the cultivation of Celestial Bridge Realm. Thank you, Junior Apprentice Sister Yi. Do you know where Luofei went? Ning Cheng took in a deep breath and thanked her. Luofei did not die. Even if he destroyed 100 everlasting sacred shrines, it still wouldn't be worth it. Jing Yi bowed again and spoke, I'm sorry, Big Brother Ning. I really don't know. After saying that, she seemed to have thought of something and spoke again, many thanks, Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, for saving my life last time. Ning Cheng knew that Jing Yi was talking about the changing earth mountains. He shook his head and did not answer. Seeing Mi Jin still wanting to speak, Ning Cheng waved his hand and spoke, Dao friend Mi Jin, I will not destroy the everlasting sacred shrine. Take me to the everlasting sacred tree. Mi Jin wanted to say something, but seeing Ning Cheng's eyes, she knew that she couldn't anger the other party anymore. I asked Dao friend Ning to come with me. Ning Cheng stood in the most mysterious place of the everlasting sacred shrine and looked at the lush everlasting sacred tree in front of him. The everlasting sacred tree exuding a strong vitality caused him to sigh in his heart. If he had this cultivation at that time, would Mi Jin dare to not let Qianghua heal here? Mi Jin and the others followed behind Ning Cheng, not daring to show any dissatisfaction. After a long time, Ning Cheng suddenly brought out the Nirvana spear in his hand and shot it towards the everlasting sacred tree with a violent momentum. Don't! Mi Jin screamed in horror, but it was too late. Boom! The lush everlasting sacred tree, which contained rich vitality, collapsed under Ning Cheng's spear, and its vitality quickly dissipated. Ning Cheng turned his head and looked at me Jean, who still looked terrified, and spoke with a cold voice, "This everlasting sacred tree, even the disciples under it can't come here to heal. What use is it? You saved Luofei once, so I owe you a favor. Goodbye." While speaking, Ning Cheng's figure flashed and disappeared from the everlasting sacred tree garden. He didn't take anything from the everlasting sacred shrine, not even the everlasting sacred sword. Sacred Lady Rose, who had been blasted away by Ning Cheng twice, once again came to meet Jin's corpse and picked up the everlasting sacred sword. After watching the starry sky will disappear into the distance with a calm expression, she knelt down beside me Jin's corpse and clenched her fists before slowly speaking, "Master, you can go. One day, I will kill this person with my own hands and place his head in front of Master's memorial tablet. If I break this oath, Shu Chang will become a mortal in the mortal world. Master, where are we going now?" Chasing Bull still felt some regret over the leveled Heart Emperor Mountain's Starry Sky Spirit Fruit Banquet. Unfortunately, it didn't know how long it would take to attend such a banquet again. Where to? Ning Cheng remained silent. At this moment, he suddenly didn't know where to go. Chasing Bull understood that its master was in a bad mood and could only shut up and concentrate on controlling the Starry Sky Wheel. After a long time, Ning Cheng spoke up, "Let's go to a place close to the Nine-Plate Starland." Luofei's cultivation was limited. Even if she left the Nine-Plate Starland, she wouldn't go far. The celestial river closest to the Nine-Plate Starland is the Night Essence Celestial River. "Master, are we going to the Night Essence Celestial River?" Chasing Bull looked at the Starry Sky Wheel's positional disk for a while before speaking. "Then let's go to the Night Essence Celestial River first. If there's no news, we'll continue back to Culmination Starland." Ning Cheng sighed. He knew that this kind of search was like looking for a needle in a haystack. It was just too uncertain. Tipping Rainbow City was a starry sky city in the Night Essence Celestial River's Thousand Cry Star. Although Ning Cheng knew that it was almost impossible to find out anything about Ji Luofei, he still came here. Ning Cheng arrived at the Tipping Rainbow City's trade union. He wanted to inquire about some mystic realms that had opened in recent years. Luofei had a soft appearance but a hard heart. She was a very strong-minded woman. Once the cultivation resources he left for Luofei ran out, Luofei would definitely look for cultivation resources on her own. If she wanted to get the best cultivation resources at the fastest speed, she would have to explore all kinds of mystic realms and dangerous places. "This guest, how can I help you?" The person in charge of the trade union was a middle-aged female cultivator with a celestial shatterer cultivation. Her eyes flickered as she spoke. This kind of person spoke politely, but if you couldn't come up with something, they would only be polite and would never really help you. "I want to post a team mission to the ancient Shadow Temple." A cultivator in Heaven's Mandate Realm came over and cut the line in front of Ning Cheng. The middle-aged female cultivator immediately put Ning Cheng aside and spoke to the cultivator in Heaven's Mandate Realm with a smile, "Of course, please state your request." After the cultivator in Heaven's Mandate Realm finished posting the mission, the middle-aged female cultivator didn't continue to pay attention to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng took out 10 perpetual moon pills and placed them in front of the middle-aged female cultivator. "I want to inquire about the mystic realms in the Night Essence Celestial River in recent years or any places with rich cultivation resources." The female cultivator on seeing Ning Cheng take out 10 perpetual moon pills immediately stood up and stretched out her hand. Ning Cheng's perpetual moon pills immediately disappeared. Not only did she become more enthusiastic, but her tone also turned more polite. "There are many mystic realms in the Night Essence Celestial River, but the most famous one is the Devouring Bone Sea. Although it is dangerous, it has many good things. Many rogue cultivators like to adventure in the Devouring Bone Sea, and some even obtained a Celestial River Essence Chi King pill. In addition to the Devouring Bone Sea, Thorn Tooth Lake and Nari Valley are all good places to find cultivation resources. I have a jade strip map here. If you want to go there, you can help me post a team mission here. While speaking, the female cultivator also politely handed Ning Qing a jade strip map. Many thanks. Ning Qing took the jade strip map and thanked her. The female cultivator quickly spoke up, no need, no need. But I want to remind you that you should never go to the radial immortal star's ice immortal ridge. That place is very strange. I heard that countless cultivators died there, and only a few came out alive. Originally, the ice immortal ridge had always been closed. But a few years ago, for some unknown reason, an ice cave appeared in the ice immortal ridge. Many people continued to die because of this passage, but there is nothing good in it. I want to post a team mission to the ancient Shadow Temple. Another cultivator in Heaven's Mandate Realm came over and said. Ning Qing secretly wondered what kind of place this ancient Shadow Temple was. In just a short period of time, 2 people had come to issue party quests. One could imagine how many cultivators would form teams in a day. This time, this female cultivator did not leave Ning Qing behind, but spoke to Ning Qing first. You can take a look at the map first. If you have any questions, you can ask me, I will tell you everything I know. Ning Qing waited for the Heaven's Mandate cultivator to finish posting the quest before asking. I just stood here for a while, and I saw 2 people posting a quest to go to the ancient Shadow Temple. What kind of place is this ancient Shadow Temple? The middle-aged female cultivator quickly explained. The ancient Shadow Temple is a newly opened mystic realm named Descendant Celestial River's second revenant star. That mystic realm is huge, and I heard that it contains countless treasures. Even many heaven-seated powerhouses go there. However, those who could travel to the named Descendant Celestial River had to be at least at the Heaven's Mandate Realm, and they had to pay a hefty price. If you want to go, you might as well go to the Devouring Bone Sea. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.